Here we are. We're in Tustin, folks. So a lady named Darlene Safford has gone out of her way to ensure that this city was on record opposing Senate Bill 54, the law. So I'm here helping her out. I'm here joining with the rest of her community of activists to fight this thing. I'm here in beautiful city of Tustin. We're here in the Tustin Square, going around. Hey, good. Hey, Dee Dee. Here we go, folks. Well, I got the papers all up and ready.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I made it.
So here, hey Arthur, this is an Angel Mom.
Hey, Angel Mom. Oh gosh, what's your name?
Linda.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Arthur.
Hey, Kenny. I'm glad you made it.
Yep.
How are you? Okay. Are we allowed to come in?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, right here, but then I've got seats for us in there.
Okay,
These
good.
doors open at 6:30.
Okay, got it.
They want you to, all you have to put is your name, whether you're in opposition or in favor of
Right.
SB 54.
Got it. Which item is it? Oh, this is it? This is the only thing they're doing?
No, that's the.
Oh, it's a correction. Got it. And they're talking about Prop 47. Good for them. That's the agenda. Okay.
We have a church here that's, we're so unloving.
Oh, okay.
We're going out praying because we are not showing the love.
Oh my gosh. You know, this is my answer. You really want to show love, then let them into your house first.
I know.
But practice what you preach. Don't tell me to tear down my walls.
I know, that's funny.
Tear down. Okay. Then
Yeah.
you start with your house. Can they go to your house? That's where they can go.
You know, it's
Go
funny.
ahead.
You know what the problem is?
And what do you say about heaven? Heaven has walls.
It does, exactly. The people don't realize that
Anything else? No, just your name.
once you
Will they have a general open just a sec, please? Okay.
Linda, do you want one?
I'm going to speak at general public comment.
Technically, heaven is a place where anyone who's not a Christian can't go because they don't believe. They don't believe. According to John 14:6, all who are Jesus is the only way, the truth, and
Yeah,
life.
there's a clear standard.
People who don't believe don't go.
So-
you know. That's the
Okay, so
problem.
they're going to we got some seats out here too. Got it.
14:6. Anyone.
In general.
I will speak at general public comment. I got two forms. It's okay.
You know.
Yeah, I get you. Give me a sec. So here we are in Tustin. So 6:30. I know the door was open at 6:30. Got it. Hi. Are you one of the staffers here at the city? Got it.
This is for general public.
Oh, you have to use a different form?
Yeah,
Okay.
general public, and that's for an opposition.
Agenda?
That's for the agenda.
Okay.
So fill one out on that.
But does it really matter? I mean, I'm just for general public comment.
We just
and-
make it easier on the mayor to decipher which one's speaking on item 16 and then which one's speaking just in general on public input
That's
or
fine.
on any other item that's on the agenda.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I
So
see
it
it.
just makes it easier.
Oh wow, look at that. They really came prepared today. Okay, thank you. So, okay. All right, everybody. So
How
this is
far
what's
did you
going.
have to travel, Arthur, to make it?
Oh, it's like 45 minutes away, so not that far. It's a little further than Justin's a little further than I realized, but it's okay.
Mission. Oh, yeah, I came from Mission Viejo.
Oh,
obviously,
it's close for you.
yeah.
Okay, but what am I in favor of here?
Still takes a while though to bike from there. But yeah,
Okay, all right.
you know.
Okay, right, item 16. Oh, brother, I could see them taking forever on this. I could see them dragging their feet on this. All right. Good job, Darlene, for getting this all together. She worked so hard to make this happen. That's really good. Very much in favor. They're reaffirming their letter of opposition.
Yep. Yeah, this is a big deal. Yep.
It took them long enough.
Yep, this is in favor. Yeah, I did it online, so they had it. Darlene sent the link to do it online. To
Oh,
the
nice.
chat. So.
Got it.
The group chat. I'm trying to find the screenshot. Where is it? There it is.
All right.
See? That's what it's. See, they have.
Okay, so that's done.
So.
Okay.
Who did? Costa Mesa? How long was that meeting? That take a while. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very late. Lisa Viejo waited till the 2 hours of that one. That one was crazy. But yeah, what's funny is that people often the left is trying to bring up tries to bring up the states' rights thing whenever confronted with that.
Whenever they don't like what the feds are doing,
and I keep telling them the naturalization clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. It's one of the enumerated powers.
who's the angel mom? You are? Is that right? The angel mom? So what was your child's name? Andrea Nelson. And when was she murdered?
And it says according to the
January
supremacy clause
27th, 2003.
that the power
That's how long
that those
this
enumerated powers
has been
in
going on.
conjunction with the Constitution.
Was it here in Tustin?
It was
This is
in
the
Newport
law of the
Beach.
land.
Okay. And what were the facts of this murder? What happened?
They're all on the internet. You can look it all up. You can look up the Andrea Nelson murder.
This, I hate to say it, this is the first time I've heard that name.
It's kind of disgusting.
It's-
Have you heard of it?
I'm so sorry. It's terrible.
Huge story that never made the media.
Was it a DUI or is it? It's
It was
that
a rape murder.
awful.
It's a
She was just 19. She had just turned 20
by
years
the
old.
Constitution.
Unjudged.
This is so important that they take a full, firm stance. I'd like them to go further, honestly, with like an amicus brief, a stay of compliance, that they will instruct their police to cooperate.
We're even talking about
Yeah.
this because it's illegal.
Yeah, they're here
Okay?
illegally.
And the guy who killed my daughter shouldn't have been in this country. He should be alive today.
What happened?
It's a long story.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it.
I hope you'll share parts of it or enough of it with the
Well, I
city
mean,
council.
You can Google Andrea Nelson murder, and you can look it up on
Oh,
YouTube.
wait, what's-
There's about 20 videos of it.
Andrea
No
Nelson, is that her name?
Terrible.
And no mainstream media would write anything about it, except for the OC Weekly, who wrote 5 stories about it.
But they write something else.
But they've changed ownership now.
Oh, it used to be like it really paid attention to issues
Oh,
that mattered.
They were right on it. If it wasn't for the OC Weekly, I wouldn't have gotten this.
Wow, you wouldn't believe the name of this.
That's
the guy who murdered. His name was Humayun Bakhtar, Muslim. Crazy.
Iran.
Wow.
Iranian. Oh my God.
Just that's the worst.
May I see what you have there on your phone? All right. There's the story.
GH.
One that looks suspicious but lacks sufficient evidence.
Look. They did find GHB. Look at that.
No.
And then look.
Wow. Where is this printed? OC Weekly. A perfect crime.
Yeah, don't scroll too quickly.
Yeah. So there was a lawsuit.
Yeah.
He got away with it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the big that's bad. And yeah, it wasn't just it was what makes it the fact that the crime was sexual makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The fact that the crime was sexual makes it even worse. Yeah, that's just stupid.
A special victims unit.
Yeah.
So Darlene, tell us, how long have you had to badger the city council to do something of this nature, to finally get it on the agenda?
This is my 10th meeting.
Wow.
So I've been to 9 meetings. and
Why are they letting
spoken-
people in early? Who are those guys?
And spoken in open public forum, trying to get them to put it on the agenda for a vote.
Wow. And it took 10 times for them to finally do it.
Yeah. I don't have that kind of time right now to deal with torrents.
Oh.
Yeah. We've got their attention on it, but he's with Mimi Walters Challenger. I could say Katie Porter. Wonder, so does Katie support open borders and?
Oh, she's not only that, she's full. She's a
Crazy
full
open.
on feminist kind of person, Marxist.
wow.
Yeah, she's one of those.
She's a professor, I think.
Oh yeah.
The Katie Porter who's running against cousin Mimi in this district. What is it?
Where's all our opt-out?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Well, Dee Dee is here. She's.
I saw her. She'll be coming back. So it's item 16.
I know it's item 16. It said that they printed out stuff for us.
Here's the agenda report. There's a separate correction. Here they come.
That's the opposition.
Here they
Or
come.
the police.
Color guard, attention.
There you go.
Will the audience please rise? Color guard, advance.
Oh, there you go.
Color guard, halt.
Still waiting again.
Color guard,
Doors should open at 6:30. Should they not?
Assis sir. Hi to me.
scout salute.
What? You guys already there?
Recite the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Color guard, hoist the flag of the United States.
What is it? You got it. I'm glad I could finally make it.
Glad I can find
2.
My city council meeting is at the same time.
Color guard,
Oh, he's the single payer doctor, I think.
Color guard. Color guard, retreat.
So do you want the lowdown?
Okay.
Letitia and Becky are Democrats.
Okay.
Al, Chuck, and Dr. Allen are Republicans. Becky and Al are terming out in November.
Okay. They're not running again or
No,
anything.
there's 2 seats open.
Okay. Al's a Republican. Supposedly.
Oh, I'm coming in Wednesday. You're like this. Oh, because I'm standing for 2 days.
Do you guys get my emails at all, or? Yeah. Do you get my emails at all?
No,
I don't know if I have it.
I don't.
So what I do is I send out information about SB 54, and so like I collect people's emails. If you'd like to give me your contact info, and I'll get you on that list. And we're also fighting. We also fought and won against AB 2943, that awful ban the Bible bill. We stopped it in its tracks. It was great.
And the Koran.
Yeah, everything that speaks of like natural marriage and natural law, they would have banned. Teaching, speeches, preaching, and then they tried to soften it and say, well, we're going to take out the goods, but it was still a perverse overreach. So, all right. Yeah, I just need city and county, and that helps me to target, so I send it. So there's the, yay, it's the crazy liberals. Yeah, please. I can get, do you know Robin Vidston at all? Robin Vidston, do you know We the People Rising? I'll get you in touch with her. She has something called the Remembrance Project. I don't know. I sent this out to all my lists. I told them to come. This is big. It's on the agenda.
The first is this.
I made a Facebook. You can join my Facebook. You should join my Facebook.
What's the name of it?
No, just my personal.
Oh, your profile. Okay. You have and my phone number and my email. My phone number and my email are there too, so you can have
Join
it.
my page off and then add it to my group. Another group that I run. No California Sanctuary Saints.
Maybe I'm a part of it already. I don't know. Oh, I hate. Oh gosh, I'm so tired for some reason. Thank you. Oh, yes, I'll keep you up to speed on SB 54 and the fight against AB 2943 and every godforsaken cultural Marxist perversion that they're trying to shove down our throats in this state. We won a fight. We won a fight. So we're gonna keep fighting.
I'm just wondering where's John Cox and why is he here?
Yeah.
We're letting us in now, Arthur.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for letting me know in a very loud voice.
I know, really.
Because I'm like, I have perfect hearing. Oh, that's true. It's not just about me. Oh, absolutely. And they have a prayer. Thank God. They actually have prayer. Thank you. And a real prayer, like to God, not to something non-sectarian.
Not to
To the wall.
or to
Come together today.
to a heretical misrepresentation.
Ask for guidance in our lives.
Yeah.
Pray that
All right, Darlene, we're with you.
Amen.
Here we are going into Tustin. Okay. Yeah, right in the middle would be great. Oh, nice job. Thank you for having so much. Is Kelly going to be here?
Kim said he might. Kim said
Sargenti? Oh, he should come here.
he's,
I'll go to the middle. Is this okay there, Darlene? I'm going to move over just a little. Okay. So I can.
let's move to the front.
Can you sit over here though if you're going to sit? Okay. That way I have the. Perfect. This is great. Did I get the clipboard back? Oh, she's almost done. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's chilly in here. All right, folks. I don't think we're going to have a lot of here today. I think we're going to have, we're going to have some of the white liberals and Trump and Mimi. And it's not good because I think Mimi Walters is going to be just fine going into So just everybody, we've got 4 police officers. Okay. Darlene is way too naughty, has worked very hard, getting people invested and mobilized here in the city of Tustin. The city issued a letter last year opposing SB 54 when it was a bill going through the state legislature. Now the city to go on record opposing SB 54, the law. I definitely want to see them file an amicus brief. I want to see them issue a stay of compliance. I want to see them take real steps to oppose this perverse lawlessness. That's what I am hoping to see tonight. So I'm gonna go into. Oh, all right. So I'm gonna turn off the stand for pledge. We're going to. I'll be back online probably in about 15 minutes. Okay, I'm back, folks. Briefly. Everybody, Tustin resident. Okay. What we got here? All right, they show up. Oh. What is it? I don't know. We're saving these 2 seats for 2 more people, I know. So. What is it? Right, and I got this one. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Tustin resident. Got it. Okay. Yeah. They're probably going to tell you to lower that, though, at some point. Yeah. Here. For all right, I am going to do. I don't know. Maybe I can move the hand up. Yeah, I'll just get to my wife. My God, it's gonna be crazy today. Oh, I gotta turn in the cards. Hello. All right, everybody, take a look. Ah, yeah, that's for you. All right, I'm glad you came. What's your name?
Doreen.
Arthur. I'm a friend of Darlene's.
Yes, we're opposed, right?
And you want to say yes because they're going to issue a letter in opposition to. Let me show you your name, and then I'm going to speak on general public comment.
Putting in opposition.
Well, if there's to say their name, but that's they got to look at the agenda and they'll see that's what it is. Got to turn this in. All right? Do you have your speaker cards?
No.
Technically, you don't need it. That would be like a violation of the Brown Act. Let's see.
Put down to be a speaker.
Oh, I see. I can do this. Okay. All right. I got to. God. Okay. So they're from one of the churches. They're not showing me the. Can I see it? Okay. Thank you.
Isn't that a good thing?
They're different.
Okay.
You know what?
Let me take I'll take photos. I have we're affirming what they did. Make sure if you have speaker cards, make sure you give them to the clerk.
Yeah, if you guys have speaker.
Okay, we've got this down to a science. Okay, now I know what to do. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. How do I?
No one comes to the Father except through Him. Therefore, anyone who does not believe not go to the Father. So why, therefore, do you? So why, therefore, do you support? people who don't believe to come in illegally.
That camera in his face is kind of rude.
Car with the lights on. It's a Honda, a green Honda CRV.
Okay, definitely not mine.
To come in.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because you have that heart, and it's nice. Here's a quick question. Do you have a door? Do you lock it? Do you have a door?
Yeah.
Do you lock it? Okay, so why can't we
Why
secure
can't
our border?
the country lock the doors?
Why? What's the difference? I'm seriously. No, we don't. We have no wall. It's a porous border. We have thousands who cross the border illegally, like the creep that killed her daughter came illegally.
And was a Muslim to boot. That guy wasn't a Christian, therefore does not believe John 14:6.
I think I lost myself.
So,
But ma'am,
that's the problem.
but you have no problem with the porous border. Now, you realize SB 54 defends criminals. You're okay with criminals? Yes, it does. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
You get a laundry
It bans
room
ICE
building.
going into
If you think I'm
prisons
wrong-
to deport people from the prisons. It does. It
So
protects
what do you think of
people-
SB? So you don't
protects
think?
people who are
Okay.
in jail, and that's a problem.
So tell me, what do you think
Not
SB 54 is?
put your finger in my face.
Don't put your camera in my face then.
I think that's a fair judgment. Borders. Now tell me, what do you think? So what is SB 54 to you, ma'am? If you don't think what it is, what I told you, what is it?
It is a bill that expects that the federal government will reimburse state law enforcement for doing federal jobs.
No, that's not it. Who told you this? No, that's not it. That I'm speaking factually. That is not it. This bill forbids local, state, county law enforcement from working with ICE, with federal authority. That is exactly what it is. Kevin DeLeon said it? Yes, he said it. The guy who authored the bill. Are you saying he's wrong?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Okay. No, Kevin DeLeon or me? Which is it?
You are misquoting.
No, I'm not. You didn't even know who Kevin DeLeon is. Why are you here if you don't know what it is? Okay. Matthew 5. Okay. He knows. So why don't you tell me? You have it on your sign. Do you know what it says?
Do you know any Bible verse? As apparently you don't because you can't say
You're
it.
proudly displaying it, and that's good. Can you tell me what does it say?
Apparently you don't because you can't.
You don't. Okay, you don't have to, but I can ask. I'm allowed to ask a question.
You don't.
So
Therefore, you're proving our point about you not, or you about being biblical. Either you are either you don't, either you are a biblical illiterate, or you. Which is it?
So you didn't
Either
know
you are
which
a-
is
or
because
you can call
we
it
disagree about the
sex,
contents
which
of
is
SB 54. What is 25, 34 through 40? I don't have my Bible with me.
Which is it?
I have to go home. Okay, so you won't tell me, or you don't know? Which is it?
Which is it?
Do you think that Jesus would allow people to break into people's homes? Because he talked about people who do that, robbers. And
you
people who
think-
climb over walls are robbers. He says that in John 10.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that Jesus would? Do you think?
I'm not interested in this part of
Do you
the
think that?
conversation.
Listen.
I
Hey,
don't have to listen to you.
You don't have to, but we have a right to ask. And you won't tell us. Interesting.
Do you
Okay.
think Jesus
So
would let
you're not
people
sure
who
why
don't
you're here?
believe that he is the only way and the only truth and the only life into his kingdom? No, he won't. He specifically says that. Therefore you have no leg to stand on.
Well, she's definitely not standing, that's for sure. She's starting to tremble a little bit. It usually means that they know they're in trouble. They don't have an answer. Okay. Is it love that an illegal killed her daughter? Is that love? That's not love. Love has boundaries. Love has borders. Doesn't that matter? What about Angie Morphine's son, Reuben? I know this mother. Her son was murdered by an illegal. What about her dreams? What about their sanctuary? You don't care? That's how you feel about a dead son. You think it's a joke. Okay. This is the lack of compassion. Show us that love sign while you're faking those tears to show the hypocrisy. Go ahead.
That shows.
Oh, she doesn't want to do
That
it.
goes to show. Yeah, that's how well versed.
I don't know. That just incenses me.
Not that well versed.
But that's what they have to do, I guess. So, but folks, what you're seeing is a fundamental misunderstanding. SB 54 prohibits It has prevented people from stopping sex trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking. ICE stops. They go after transnational gangs.
Sean McDowell,
And
Greg
the
Vogel,
state of
all those
California just stuck a stake in those efforts. I mean, there was massive gang activity going on in Bell Gardens. They went after the bicycle casino and all the corruption that was there.
You ever heard of You ever heard of the Bible verse? What is it? Romans.
Oh my Lord, female pastor. Where does
the
it
Apostle
stop?
Paul- No, 2 Corinthians 5:10. You destroy our.
So you've agreed. You'll let them into your house.
And take every thought captive.
Okay, will you
That's
will you
what
take
the
all of
con-
them?
That's what that conference is
So
about.
we had
It's about
20,000 refugees this year. You'll take them all?
You ready
You'll,
to give
no?
an answer?
Oh, suddenly it's different. If you actually have to live up to your morals, you suddenly don't want to anymore. Oh, go back to Europe? Where? Oh, he didn't get to come in because we have doors.
Yeah.
Keep the animals outside, right? Okay. Okay. People won't believe it. Can you just hold that?
If that were Europe,
You got a strong voice, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Look right into the mirror.
Apparently, those people have no idea that,
Okay.
that in Europe they're making the same point. They're making the same.
So now you don't, I figured out how to do this. Okay, we're good. You know, I hate to.
You really should sit still or sit on the end, dude. Okay.
Hey, go back to Europe. This guy is a Nazi, brown Nazi right here.
Have you got a job yet?
This guy wants to get rid of all the white people, all the Asian people, all the black people because they are not brown and they're not in band. Is that live? Is that law? He doesn't have a job.
Have you got a job yet?
Oh, so does.
Have you got a job yet?
Why are you selling out your people?
Have you got a job yet?
Why are you selling out your culture? Why are you selling? Don't run into children. Why do you do that? Nowie, do you have a door? Do you lock it? Nowie, do you? Hello, young man. Do you have a door? Do you lock it at night? He's a bandito. He's selling out his people. Okay, I tried. He didn't want to talk to me. You're the doctor, right? The single payer guy. So, did you find out that the average wait time now in Great Britain is 62 weeks for a special operation? You want to bring that here? Why? That's single payer, which you advocate. I don't want Katie Porter or single payer or her open borders Marxist agenda anywhere in my country. They get to see democracy in action. Where did he go? Where did he go back to Europe go? Calm down? Okay. You guys just have to get used to it. Kenny, now remember what I said, Kenny? That you were so loud that it hurt? So you need to keep it down.
Thank you for your humor.
No,
but he's funny. Shh, Kenny,
Ask you to leave.
Kenny, look at me. Okay,
You voted in city practice.
Do you?
Kenny, look at me.
Hypocrisy.
Kenny, look at me.
Answer me, you're an idiot.
Kenny. You need to hold on to it. You need to hold on to it for the city council meeting. Now here's the other thing. You're hearing from an expert here, okay? If you're disruptive, and I'm like follow my example here. Quiet. Okay, you're so loud that it hurt my ear, and I'm right next to you, and she's right next to you. Okay, we believe in boundaries. They don't. Kenny. Okay, you know what? He's an adult. I tried. He's an adult. Then he'll have to leave. Okay, you're an adult. I've tried. You got to respect everybody. If you can't, then I tried. See, I'm trying to practice what they have on a piece of paper. I actually mean it. We believe in borders, right? Yeah. You can.
So just wait for the microphone.
That's the best time. You got to save that for the city council because they're the ones that have the power. You're doing that's where you're best. That's what we need.
Good point.
You're doing a great job. You're doing like that. There you go. But they,
Give it a rest,
Yeah.
till the meeting starts. That's the chief of police.
which one? The guy with the glasses, or the other one? Okay, that's the chief. Okay, got it.
Yes, whenever
St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Okay. I wonder where they get the money for those, though.
But you don't want to see it as banter. You know what I mean? Like you guys can have the discussion and let it go.
Yes,
I believe it's from the church.
it's from the church, but so that it's paid with your tithes.
Two answers is a simpleton question.
Do you know? I'm just asking.
I have been to the church and did this, and I will be very happy if they use my money.
Fair enough. It's your money. I just think that tithing isn't it supposed to be towards building the church? You know, building the ministry.
Well, tithing is for whatever.
Yeah, but you know, this is anti-Christian. It's unholy.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
unseemly.
Not only is it what the problem that they've got is they're not taking. Sorry, you okay?
What I'm doing is I'm trying to shorten the camera angle so it's not like your face is huge.
The problem that they've got is they're taking they're quote mining certain verses completely out of context. They're completely ignoring John 14:6. Jesus says He is the way, He is the truth, He is the life. No one comes to the Father but through Him.
So tell me, do they mention things like walls and borders in the Bible?
Yeah, they mention in the book of Revelation. Kingdom had the new heaven and the new earth, the new Jerusalem has walls and gates that people are.
Hey John, I made it. That's right.
Hey Jesse. Okay, what I was
That's
going
it.
to say is, you're paying attention. Okay, let me finish. What I was going to say is that in the book of Revelation, in Revelation 23, I think it is, the new heaven and the new Jerusalem has walls and gates that people are not allowed, that people from hell are not allowed in.
So there's borders. There's a heaven and a hell.
Exactly.
There's a heaven to believe in and a hell to shun.
And a hell for the people who don't believe that Jesus is the only way, who have not accepted the gift of salvation. And there's plenty of those people who haven't accepted the gift who come in illegally.
Now we want to focus
Muslims definitely
Okay,
haven't.
so we want to talk.
accepted
Well,
that
hold on.
gift.
Okay, you gotta listen, right? So tell me, where are walls mentioned? Get a job, Nowie. Get a job. Get a job. Get a job, Nowie. Get a job. Nowie, I can help you get a job. You want to? It's too.
The American tribes, pre-Columbian civilizations conquered each other all the time. They conquered each other all the time. The Olmecs conquered. If you don't want me putting my finger in your face, then don't put your camera in his, and don't put your camera.
She can record. It's fine. I'm not afraid of the truth. I'm not afraid to speak the truth.
Yeah, listen.
So you guys are using your tithe. Let me finish. Now it's my turn. Okay, so you're using the tithe money from this church, the Episcopal Church. You've totally lost your way. Do you guys even read the Bible in your church? I'm asking. Do you? Okay. Do you believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life?
Do you believe that?
Yes or no?
Do you believe that He's the way, the truth, and the life?
I'm
and that
asking.
no one comes
Or
to the
is
Father
it like
except
you
through
believe
Him?
anything you want? Do you guys believe that marriage can be anything besides a man and a woman? Let me hear that. I want to hear that stuff. Hey, my turn. So tell me, does this church you go to also teach that two men can be married, that two women? Really? Well, that is completely anti-biblical. That is so contrary.
That is against.
Wow.
That is against Romans 1:26 and 27.
So what kind of a church
Romans
is this?
chapter 1.
And I want you to see this guy
Romans
laughing
chapter
about
1
it. So
says that people
this is
who
the
came in-
laughter of the damned, I
Yeah.
guess.
See.
So tell me. Okay, it isn't my church. Churches don't belong to me. The church belongs to the body of Christ, and Christ is the head. Do you see? They don't understand His primacy.
They don't.
Do you believe in Jesus,
They don't
or is it just a
understand-
building you go to?
They don't understand.
My turn. Do you believe in Jesus? Yes or no? Do you? She doesn't. Okay. Well, now we understand. It's not really a church.
Exactly.
So that's why you're going to.
Yeah, exactly. They say it's not a church when it's moral relativism. That is complete. That moral relativism and the Bible are diametrically opposed to
You
each
guys
other.
got to take it down.
Oh,
That's
sure
the
do.
problem.
People aren't going to hear you.
She's too. So. And so what I would say to you is because they don't believe in God's word.
Yeah.
They want to fit in with the world. So what
Exactly.
happens? The church is supposed to be separate.
Yeah.
The world's actually peripheral to the church. You'll find that in Ephesians 1, 22, 23,
Yeah,
24.
exactly.
Yep.
And you also see it in Romans.
okay.
Like I said, in Romans.
So he
1,
laughed. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so if I'm wrong, where does the Bible say it's okay for two men to be married? Okay. Okay. We've got Romans 1.
Romans
You've got
1,
1
26
Corinthians
and
6.
27. Men who committed
Did you hear her
shameful
say
acts
that?
with
That's
men
pretty
and
scary.
deceived in
What bothers
themselves
me is
to pay
that they're
penalty for their
older
error.
than I am.
That was Romans
They're elders,
1,
and they
27.
are
And then you also
a little
have, and then you also
misguided.
have Leviticus 20:13.
They don't read their. This is an Episcopal church. They've completely abandoned the Bible.
Yeah, they
And
don't do Bible studies and get into
In Leviticus
oh,
20.
great question. Calvary Chapel, South Bay.
South Bay.
Yes.
So LA.
No, Gardena specifically.
Why are you in Tustin?
Because I support my friend Darlene, who lives in the city. I support every city's effort to stand up to the lawless sanctuary state policy. Because the crime there affects other cities too. Oh, absolutely. Church, you don't apply it to any other faith. Remember, I was talking to her.
Community church is not a Christian church.
Then it's misusing the term. Is that the church you go to? You go to this Episcopal?
My son goes to preschool there. I go to a Presbyterian church.
Okay, so well, you spoke to me. I answered your question. Okay, so where does the Bible teach that two men can be married, that that's acceptable? Can you tell me? Okay, where in the Bible does it say that nations cannot have borders? Nations were created by God. They're a gift from God. Absolutely. It's not just to know him, but that he knows you. You can read that in Galatians 4:6. This isn't loving for you to block me.
Therefore, if you oppose hypocrisy, then you also oppose gay homosexuality in the church. Yes, either you do or you don't oppose hypocrisy, which is you cannot have this both ways.
Okay. Do you believe that Jesus is the only way
That is hypocrisy.
to salvation? Yes or no? I mean, these are.
Then get that out of my face.
Okay. Hey, tell me what Matthew 25. Tell me the. Okay. You go out of your way to have that, but you don't want to tell me. Okay. So you don't know what you believe. Okay, that's fine.
It is theft. So, yeah. Much.
Yeah, Jesus is alive. He takes care of us.
Exactly.
You should ask.
People, yeah,
He's alive.
yeah.
Do you believe he's alive?
Do you believe
that Jesus is alive?
Do you believe dead? Do you? Yes or no?
I think I don't think I need to.
That's relativism. Either
You're too loud. You are too loud, Kenny.
Am I right?
I like her voice. Her nice is low, nice and
Am I
low.
right in this country to believe what I want to believe?
You can believe whatever. I'm just asking, what do you believe?
It's called freedom of religion.
Absolutely.
It's called
What do you believe?
freedom, but then do you? But
How do you know?
claim that he rose from the dead is an
tried.
objective claim. It
Kenny
is
about
not
to learn
a
the hard way.
subjective opinion. It is an objective. It is a claim of objective
Megan,
nature.
Megan,
So is it true
Megan.
or is it false?
So
Tell
we're
me.
not in the belly
Do
of the
you
beast
believe-
this time.
Do you actually acknowledge? Do you know that he rose from the dead? And if you do, then why do you still? Then why do you?
Do you
still
believe that Jesus rose from the dead?
Yeah, you can't.
Do you?
Just
I'm
believe,
asking.
You can't just believe it. You have to know and believe.
Do you believe that Jesus rose from the dead? Yes or no?
To
You
know
don't
and
you don't know?
Why should I answer this?
It's just a question. You don't have to do anything. But I'm asking. You won't answer me.
Yeah, that says
I know Jesus rose from the dead.
Exactly.
I know he's alive.
I know.
I'm
that
not
he rose-
ashamed of the
I know
gospel.
that he rose from the dead, and I
It
have
is the power to
multiple
save
arguments
for the
to
Jew
prove it.
first and for the Greek.
So why? So what? So
You find that
I
in
know.
Romans
I know
1,
absolutely.
15.
Based on.
You don't
the
respect the
based
Bible?
on all the evidence.
The Word of God
provided
doesn't
by
mean
the
anything?
Bible,
Okay.
then
I mean,
he
if
says
that's what
that
you
he
believe,
did
but you
rise
have
from the
Matthew
dead.
25 there. So you respect that part of the Bible, but not other parts? Or And she's got the LGBT beads. Look at that. Okay. So two men can be married in your view? Okay. So,
You see, the problem is they don't actually believe the Bible is true. They don't believe it's absolutely true.
Right.
That's the problem.
yeah.
They don't believe it's absolutely
People like
true.
me are crazy because we believe God's word.
Exactly, and we actually take the Bible at face value instead of trying to spin relativism into it.
Yeah. I believe that Jesus rose from the dead on the third day. So,
Instead of
okay,
trying to
I got an idea. Do you know the Nicene Creed? I do.
Yeah.
I believe in one God, the
I believe
Father,
in the Father. I believe in God the Father Almighty, Creator in
heaven and earth, of
I believe
all the things of seen and unseen.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, the only Son Son,
Yeah,
God
the
the
only
Father.
Son, our Lord. I believe in the
God
pow-
from God, light from light, true God from true
Yeah,
God.
exactly. I believe in the.
Can I do it? Let me do it.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I believe in one God, the Father, the only
Yep.
God Almighty. Through Him all. Okay, so I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only Son of God, eternally
Yeah.
begotten of the Father,
Yeah.
God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made. That speaks of His human birth. One in being with the Father. Through
Yep.
Him all things were made. For us men and for our
Yeah.
salvation, He came down from heaven. He suffered, died, and was buried. On the third day, He rose again in fulfillment of the Scriptures. I believe that, and
Yeah.
I'm not
Same
ashamed
here,
of that.
Same here. Me neither.
But she won't tell me.
Exactly. Neither will they. That's neither will her or anyone else. That's the problem. They won't actually. They won't recite the creeds. They won't repeat Bible verses. We've repeated multiple
And to
ones.
me, we
That's
have
the
to.
problem.
Yeah, I take it seriously because these policies are killing Americans, as you know.
Exactly.
Like her daughter and that lady over there thought it was funny.
And the person who murdered your daughter was someone who didn't believe, who was a Muslim, and therefore, according to John 14:6, a Muslim did not accept the gift of the resurrection.
I gotta correct you.
Therefore,
let me finish. More Muslims are believing in Jesus. You know that, right?
Yeah, and I know that they are, but they don't actually believe. They believe in a corrupted.
No.
version.
Let me tell you. Across the Middle East,
Yeah.
the more that Muslims hear the gospel, they
Yeah,
believe
they
it
get-
fully.
that's a good point.
They don't accept him as just a prophet. They see him as the Holy Son of God.
Exactly, but
They do.
there's some people those who do see him as just a prophet. Those are the ones. Those are the ones who, according to John 14:6, they're not. They're not. He says no one comes to the Father but through me.
That's right.
Only believing that he's a prophet contradicts that. You know.
He's prophet, priest, and king, and he has a priesthood after the power of an eternal life.
Citizens aren't even going to get the crumbs. And that's one of the big problems that's confronting California today.
Okay, let's count the police. 1, we have 2, 3, 4, we have 5.
They're not taking the Bible at face value. That's the problem.
They don't believe it fundamentally.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's too bad. Because in the beginning was the Word.
Yeah.
The Word was with God, and the Word was
God.
in the beginning was the Word with God.
Exactly. They do not believe that.
But I want them to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
And you
Same here. Yeah.
You can believe in a secure border, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. I think that's part of the problem. I think it's just like, I don't know, maybe like white guilt or something.
Yeah.
American guilt. I don't know.
It's Marxism, pure and simple.
We got to stand up to it.
Exactly. That's one thing that our churches get that they do not.
Yes.
Which and we go to 2 different churches, but we kind of agree on all this.
But there's one body.
Exactly.
And who is the head?
And who's the head? Jesus is the head. Exactly.
That's right.
People who don't, but the problem is these guys don't. These guys believe that Christianity is just their personal preference. I actually made a video. It's called "Dear Progressive Christian Heretics." I'm gonna play that. I may actually consider playing that video on that mic because it is a heresy to believe in moral relativism while at the same time also believing in Christianity. It's a heresy.
Christianity is a religion. It's a person. It's a person.
And people who don't fully trust him who play the moral relativism card when asked if they believe. People who say that it's just their belief. No, it either happened or it didn't. That's the problem.
Yep.
And we believe that it did happen. We know that it did happen.
Okay, I'm trying to like. So, Darlene.
He has to be registered.
Darlene. Much better. We got more people. Yeah, that's good. We're very committed to this. You know, so Darlene, she gives me a hard time because I don't live here. So she gives me a hard time because I don't live here. So is that a problem?
You gave a dynamic.
No, because and I hope it does. I hope my city gets with the program and joins. Absolutely. Brown Act allows me to.
Wait, what is it totally illegal? What do you mean it's totally illegal? What is she talking about?
place they
I didn't say anything about that.
identify.
What is your,
I don't know what you're talking about.
what was Darlene talking about?
Theoretically,
Why don't you ask her?
somebody who doesn't even register can register to vote in California, vote, and then go back to wherever they came from.
Sanctuary for
You're stuck with
citizens.
elected representatives
Sanctuary for legal residents, please.
elected by people that live. That's the reality.
Sanctuary for citizens.
I only live 2 city limits away from here, and that's what makes this all the more important. Everyone
Remember Kate Steinle.
I don't have my sign. Oh, you're
We have so many homeless, so many veterans, so many homeless veterans. What about their needs? Don't they matter? What about their sanctuary?
Why are you asking if you have no idea? If
Let's try to read her name.
it's not a lease, it's a business card.
Yeah. Swayza Moon asks, is this live? Yes, it is live. This is happening right now.
It is, of course.
Yeah, there's Kenny. He's proof. Proof. Let me go off.
This is my stress to be a Christian. They're either a fundamentalist or a heretic.
Sounds good
There's
to me.
there's no in between. They're either a fundamentalist or a heretic.
Let's see, we've got Becky Gomez, Letitia
No
Clark.
in between.
That's Dr. Allen, I guess.
Now, isn't Dr. Bruce,
No in between.
Chuck Puckett, they're more conservative, right?
Yeah, they're the Republicans. Those are the Democrats, I think.
We didn't need the latest Democrat. Betsy Warren, we did not need.
And I think, okay, Alcida's up, and I don't know. Darlene knows more about what's going on.
Play that video.
But rest assured, they have doors and they lock them at night.
Yeah,
But for some reason, we can't lock our doors for our country.
exactly. That's what's stupid, you know. I mean, if God can lock the doors, the gates to the New Jerusalem, then we can lock our border, right? That's the
Nation.
problem. You know,
No, and he thought that was funny. He thought that was funny that I was quoting the Bible. He thought that was funny.
That's stupid. No,
Yeah.
you know what it is? It's if you think it's funny, that makes you.
My
that
God,
makes
we're already
you
like 20
simple.
minutes late.
That's the problem.
Looks like we're gonna get started here. Sargenti made it. Yeah, Orange County people better be here. Hey, Sargenti. Hey, Sargenti.
Jump. Yeah. And it's you say, oh, see.
Okay, it looks like they're getting ready here. How about not getting in my way, dude? I'm trying to Thank you. Chuck Oh.
Another guy from one of my
Have we named her?
They really did take over the thing if there's so many there. A lot of people.
I don't see a lot of them.
That's unfortunate. Just
Yeah, they just don't know how. Yeah.
And then they vote. They stay at home drinking beer, watching TV, and they vote the beer that we're paying for.
Until you get your
Yeah.
girl, I said, no, I'm not eating it.
So who are these people down here? These two.
Probably maybe the city attorney or the city clerk or a deputy clerk.
And then the lady.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Oh,
This is my first time here. Do you live here in the city?
I used to live in Irvine, and I've gone to that one.
That city is dragging its feet too. They're not doing anything.
Oh, yeah, they had, it used to be 90% Caucasian. They now have all the people from Korea, China, India. So because they want all their families over here. And every one of the young girls is pregnant, so they have their anchor baby.
Yeah, they've had those maternity hotels. I heard about that.
It's just, it's taken over.
A lot of them showed up though to stop the homeless shelter from being built there.
They did?
They did. I think we got to give them a more. They come legally. They support legal immigration. They're not. Now the maternity hotels are wrong. All those are terrible.
What do they call maternity hotels?
Maternity. So you have like women from China. They come over. They give birth to their babies here,
God,
and
yeah.
they take advantage of the 14th
Wow.
Amendment, which is misused,
Yeah. That's stupid.
and it's wrong. That's got to be fixed.
Yeah.
That really has to be.
Yeah, but no, but that's a voting nightmare. Nobody wants to vote on
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
I know. There's no political courage.
All
We
right,
need
ladies
it.
and gentlemen, we're going to get started shortly. Did everybody be on their best decorum? I know we have a lot of passionate people here this evening. We're going to try to proceed in a very orderly fashion.
Yeah.
If for some reason the meeting becomes out of order, we will shut the meeting down and we will not proceed. So it's in everybody's best interest to please be respectful of those who are speaking. And everybody's going to be limited to 2 minutes tonight because of the number of speakers and also just time constraints. We have provided ample parking, I'm sorry, ample seating. Which is awesome. Hopefully we have enough parking.
I wish.
With everybody that's here this evening. But we have provided ample seating, ladies and gentlemen, so I would just ask that we not have anybody standing. Please take a seat, and there's plenty of seating. All right, with that, all right. Thank you for your patience. It's been a busy afternoon and evening, and it will be a busy evening this evening. I'd like to call to order meeting number 2440. And at this time, we have our presentation of colors and invocation and pledge of allegiance by Cub Scout Pack 541, the Arrow of Light Deck. All right, let's have them get started. Please stand if you're able.
Oh, right on.
Color guard, attention. Will the audience please rise? Color guard, advance. Color guard, hold. Color guard, cross the colors. Salute. Please recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all citizens.
2. Color guard. Post the flag of the United States of America.
Amen.
Color guard. Post the flag of the great state of California. Color guard. Retreat. Color guard. Dismiss. Audience may be seated. Thank you. Here is AJ.
That's really nice. Nice applause.
Dear Heavenly Father,
Oh, great.
as we come together today, we give you thanks for the good gifts you give us. We ask for your guidance in our lives,
Amen.
and we pray that your love would live amongst us. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's have another round of applause.
Yeah! I love that door.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that now takes us to our closed session report from our city attorney, Mr. David Kinday.
The council unanimously denied the claims 18-15 from Richard Donna and David Weaver, 17-46 from Paola Fuentes Ortega, and 18-14 from Port Pacific LLC. Other than that, there was no reportable action.
I want to
All
move.
right, thank you very much.
Hold on, do I want to move downstairs? That's all right.
All right, next we have more communication, public input. At this time, any member of the public may address the council on matters which are not on this evening's agenda, provided the matter is not on subject matter, the jurisdiction of the city council. Please keep in mind that public comment is your opportunity to address us. Because public comment items are not on the agenda, we are not allowed to discuss them except to refer them to staff for response when we think that's warranted. All right, at this time, we have quite a few public comments.
Oh, no kidding.
So I'll start off with Arthur Schaefer.
Shopper.
And it reads,
My name is Arthur Shopper. I wear multiple hats, but it all falls under one, make California great again. I'm also the organization director for an international group. We are called Mass Resistance. Our basis is in Massachusetts, where the gay marriage decision was first imposed by judicial fiat on one state, and then everything went down from there. There's a larger agenda behind that, the LGBT, homosexual, transgender agenda. That is something that Mass Resistance has taken a firm opposition to on many levels. We have chapters in many states. And I speak on behalf of our chapter here in the state of California because we had an epic victory in this state. We stopped Assembly Bill 2943. That absolutely deserves it. Okay, so that's fine. This bill would have banned reparative therapy for adults seeking to be set free from same-sex attraction, unwanted, or from gender dysphoria. This bill, if it had passed, would have banned the Bible, would have banned counseling among pastors, professionals, pediatricians, and churches, charities, small businesses, individuals rose up for the first time in decades in this state to stop that perverse agenda. And everyone in the state needs to know that people may have written off California as a lost cause, a godless wasteland, but there is a resurgence of life, family, faith, and freedom in the state of California, and it is essential that we commemorate that, and I take that time to do that here. The fight is not over. Mass Resistance continues our efforts. Our fights are now international. Chile, Hong Kong, South Africa, as well as the United States of America. And those citizens deserve to be recognized for their fight, including the churches, against that perversion. Thank you.
John Murray, and then Jeff Walker.
May I ask that you group all of them that are Sycamore Gardens Silver? It seems like there's a lot.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you group all of them for the permanent parking Sycamore Gardens?
No.
I understand that. I'm calling the names as I have them here, so just go ahead in the interest of time.
So I sent everyone an email about the situation at Sycamore Gardens. You have seen me over the years telling you the problem we have. Everyone should have a map of what is happening 55 to the 5. This is not something that can easily be written off as, well, there's nothing that we can do. All of your choices over the last 10 years has caused a situation for us. And every time that one of these parking zones get passed, you say, if it becomes a problem, we'll remove it. That was what was stated in the bill. This law, written in 2008 at the time, made sense for single-family homes. That is not the case in Tustin anymore. The majority of places now have multiple families, multiple generations, 10, 9 people. I've talked to Public Works, I have documentation, cars that have been there for a long, long time. Now, there's really 2 options to fix this problem. One, we can get rid of all the permanent zones, which will leave contested forever and ever. The second is granting us the request of permanent parking along Sycamore and Newport along our property lines. I've already outlaid it. I've already shown you guys that you use the Attorney General's law, to give Old Town Tustin multifamily permanent parking. All we ask is to at least have parking for who we are. A lot of people can't go and get second jobs or have to stay at home just for one of their spouses to leave, which creates poverty and that prevents upward mobility. A lot of people that are going to be talking are just going to express what their living situation is and how after 2 p.m., after 6 in some areas, they have to walk far away. So I hope you give them their ear and contact them, because while we might have had bad communication with the different types of protests, we're going to continue to keep on
Jeff
coming.
Walker.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for taking the time with me. I was here at the last meeting on July 17th to discuss the parking of RVs and driveways. And it seemed to be kind of a favorable thing with Ms. Clark and the city manager. And I was here to change the code for trailer parking in the driveway. My particular situation is in 2005, we moved to the city of Tustin. I was given a notice because I did park my trailer in the grass, so I got the notice saying that I can't park it in the grass, that it needs to be on concrete. So I spent thousands of dollars to widen my driveway, to put my trailer there, and I haven't heard anything since then, since 2005. Now I get a notice saying that my trailer has to be 20 feet back from the sidewalk. I can't comply with that. I complied with what the city asked me to do in 2005, and I want that to stand as it has for the last 13 years since I've lived here. But I'd also like to know how did the conversation go about this issue, as discussed on July 17th, that they were going to look into that. And then you had mentioned to, is there Justina? You had asked her to call myself and another neighbor that was here to discuss this issue, to call us, to discuss this issue with us and our situations. That never happened. So, just curious if
Okay, Mr. Walker.
we can have a discussion about this.
I have your information. I will pass it on to staff and make sure that someone follows up to contact you. All right?
That's all I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Sir. All right, next is Irene Bahira. And then on deck is Maria Carrasco. Okay. Is Graciela Juarez in the room here? How about Barbara Boyd?
Good evening, Councilor. I'm here too on behalf of the trailer situation. We have lived in our neighborhood for over 30 years, and we were in the same situation. A few years ago, say 25 years ago, we had our trailer on dirt, and then it was on bricks. And then all of a sudden, somebody came along and told us, if we put concrete and raised our wall, we could still plug it in. After 18 years, we have had that trailer, and nobody has ever said anything. Until somebody comes up and complains about a house at 13255 Loretta, who had a lot to do with the brush, the trees, and we had tried many, many times to get that property cleaned up. I do not live on Loretta, I live on Grant Lane. And I do not think that it's fair. And also, when you get looking and looking to find somewhere to put this trailer, there's nothing in Tustin to put our trailer.
Okay, thank you. Irene Bahira?
Mi nombre es Irene Baena y vivo en la ciudad de Tustin, en Sycamore, en Newport.
My name is Irene Bahera, and I live in the city of Tustin, near Sycamore and Newport.
Lo que quiero decirle al alcalde que si nos podría permitir ¿cómo se le puede llamar? Un permiso para nosotros los que vivimos en Sycamore y Newport, por la razón de que no podemos estacionarnos, estamos viviendo una situación muy difícil. Yo tengo 2 gemelos de 7 años, yo quiero llevarlos a un deporte y no puedo hacerlo.
I am here to request the mayor, from the mayor and the city council, a parking permit program. I have 2 7-year-old children that are twins, and it's difficult for me to get them to participate in activities because of the lack of parking once I leave my community.
Ok, también lo que le quiero decir es de que son personas que no viven en la ciudad de Tustin, viven en Santa Ana, y para nosotros es muy difícil. La razón es de que difícil en la cuestión de que no puedo salir de tarde, tengo que llegar a mediodía, si no yo ya no puedo salir. Si yo hago mis cosas tiene que ser a mediodía, si no ya no lo puedo hacer.
Most of the folks that park in the area come from the city of Santa Ana, and it's difficult for me to get out and partake in activities with my children because of the lack of parking once I leave.
Muchísimas gracias y espero consideren lo que yo les vengo a pedir.
Thank you very much, and I hope that you consider my request today.
Thank you. Maria Carrasco, and then Nora Garcia.
Buenas noches a todos, mi nombre es María Carrasco, vivo en el mismo complejo de Sycamore Gardens, ubicado entre Newport y Sycamore.
Good evening, my name is Maria Carrasco, and I live in the Sycamore Gardens community off of Sycamore and Newport.
Desde hace muchos años atrás la situación se ha venido complicando con el problema de los parkings. Vivimos situaciones diferentes, difíciles, porque ahora ya hay más carros, vienen de, vamos a decir, más que todo de ciudades de Santana, y decirles que no nos permiten salir de nuestras casas porque tenemos que estar esperando ahí, no movernos y nos perdemos el parking, y tampoco podemos, vamos a decir, poderlos poner en actividades en nosotros mismos agarrar otro trabajo, segundo trabajo. Y en la situación se pone, por favor, pedirles a ustedes que tomen consideración que haga un programa de permiso de parking en lo que es en el área de Newport. Le rogamos a ustedes, a cada uno de ustedes, por favor, tomen en cuenta mi petición, mi opinión, por favor. Somos familias muy honestas, muy trabajadores, vivo yo ahí casi 30 años, y desde hace años para acá se ha ido complicando la situación de los parkings, y ahora tenemos que ir parqueando hasta Red Hill, tenemos que ir parqueando a San Juan, viviendo ahí cerca. Entonces por eso lo que es en el área de Newport son carros que no mueven por semanas, días, 5 o 6 días. Entonces tenemos que estar buscando parking, y somos nosotros los que vivimos en esa área. Por favor, y muchas gracias por escucharme.
My name is Maria Carrasco, and for many years we've been having complications with parking. Lately it's been worse because there are more cars in the community. There are folks that come from the city of Santa Ana to park there. It is difficult for me to enroll my children into extracurricular activities because I lose my parking spot. I'd like for you to take into consideration my petition. We come from honest working families and I've lived in the city for 30 years. Folks come from the park, members in our community park off of Red Hill now because of the
30
lack of
years.
parking.
They still can't speak
And
English.
sometimes the parking is not, cars are there for days. And I request your support in installing a parking permit program.
Thank you. Nora Garcia. And then, I think it's Andrea. Last name is Maldonado.
Buenas noches, señor alcalde. Mi nombre es Nora García. Al igual que mis vecinos, estoy en el mismo propósito. La situación es insostenible con los parques. Necesitamos y apelamos a usted que nos pueda apoyar con los permisos de parking para la zona de Sycamore Gardens, que son los condominios de los
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. My name is Nora Garcia, and I am here to discuss the unsustainable parking situation in the same community. I'm here to support my fellow neighbors and ask for your consideration in a parking permit program.
La situación es la siguiente también. Vienen de otras partes, de otras ciudades, como la de Santana, otras calles que también pertenecen al parque atrás y más en Santana. A ocupar el lugar por días, como dijo mi otra compañera, mi vecina, y pasan 2 o 3 días, o vienen 2 carros, dejan uno y se van. Esto es insostenible y quisiera pedirnos, por favor, nuevamente, que nos apoyen.
Cars are coming from other complexes. They stay for 2 to 3 days. I've observed other vehicles, 2 vehicles come, drop off a car, and one of the drivers jumps into the other vehicle to leave. I ask for your consideration along with my neighbors for a parking permit program.
La otra situación es de que a veces necesitamos salir a ciertas appointments de médicos o salir, muchas veces tenemos que ocupar permisos o que alguien nos dé un ride en los vehículos para no poder meter
The final point is that there are medical appointments or other different appointments, and sometimes we have to ask for a ride to go elsewhere, even though we have a vehicle, so that we don't lose our parking spot.
Thank you. Andrea Maldonado. Andrea.
Good evening, my name is Andres Maldonado.
Vivo en Newport, Sycamore. Tengo lo mismo de todos mis compañeros. El problema del estacionamiento.
I live in the Newport Sycamore area, and I'm here with my other fellow residents to discuss the parking issue.
Quisiera para mi permiso para poder estacionar nosotros porque igual viene mucha gente de otros lugares a estacionarse.
I'd like for you to consider a parking permit program as other folks that don't live in the area come and park.
Espero que consideren este problema porque sí se está grabando.
I hope that you would consider this as a serious problem because it is aggravating.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Graciela Ramirez. And then Maria Carapar.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Graciela Borneros y vivo en los Sycamore Gardens Complex y estoy aquí por la razón de que tenemos muchos problemas con el estacionamiento. Yo vivo exactamente en la mera avenida de la Newport y personas que no vienen ahí no respetan, vienen muy noche, en la madrugada con la música fuerte, tiran basura y también yo pienso que si ustedes nos permiten que nos den esos lugares para estacionarnos, pues también nuestras propiedades van a sufrir un poco más de valor porque ya se devalúan con tanta ruido, suciedad y que no respetan. Vienen personas de otros lugares a estacionarse y por la razón que nosotros también estamos muy vigilantes del estacionamiento y como dicen todos los demás que viven ahí en la comunidad, si tienen unas citas o necesitan salir con la misma limitación que tenemos de estacionamientos adentro, pues no tenemos lugares y nos gustaría que ustedes consideraran que pudieran, por favor, pues permitirnos que damos unos permisos de darnos toda la avenida de Newport para podernos pues estacionar, tener un poco más de lugar para nosotros y que se mantenga más limpio y que sea más despejado. Gracias.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Graciela Orejos. I live at Sycamore Garden. I'm here to also share with you the problems of parking. There are folks that park there that do not live there. We have a series of trash problems as well, including loud music after hours. If you grant us this parking permit program, I think we will see an increase in property values. And we're going to get compliance with the program as folks that don't live in the area would not be parking there. She also wants to convey that if there are a need for appointments, that there is no place to park once she will return, and she would like to see all of Newport to be a permit-based parking.
Thank you, Maria Carabari. And then David Carabari. David, Maria. Can you speak into the microphone a little bit?
Yo vengo por la misma que están pidiendo ellos, que se nos conceda un permiso a los residentes de Sycamore Garden, porque en sí lo que ellos dicen es verdad, y también como yo tengo hijos que van de trabajar noche, tienen que usar la patineta porque se estacionaron más lejos de donde deberían de estacionarse. También tengo, cuando llegamos, no encontramos parking porque hay personas que tienen múltiples carros que los dejan estacionados por mucho tiempo. Entonces, eso es lo que estamos pidiendo, que se nos considere, que nos den un permiso.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Maria, and I also reside at Sycamore Gardens. I'm asking for the same consideration as others. I'm here for the same issue, and that is for you to consider permit-based parking. I have children that park far away and have to skateboard into our home because of the lack of parking. This multiple cars impacts the community, and the cars that are there are there for a long duration of time. And I'd ask for your consideration for the parking permit program. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And then next after David is Ernesto.
Buenas noches. Voy a tratar de hablar. I'm going to try to speak Spanish and English.
Yeah.
My problem is the same with other persons. I like to take this consideration because we had two sons and work in the night.
The last card I have here is Mario Gaten. That concludes my public comment cards up here. All right. We will now move on to our consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine will be enacted by one motion without discussion. Persons wishing to speak regarding consent calendar matters have filed a request, and I don't have any on the consent calendar. But I do have two requests to pull two items by my colleagues here, item number 7 and item number 13. All right, we have a motion to move the balance. We have a second? All right. Item number 7, I believe, is Councilmember Clark. I'm sorry, yes. We took a motion in a second. Any abstentions or objections other than the items pulled? Seeing none, that passes, and now we move on to number 7. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had the reopening of the library on August 22nd, and I know the item number It's just a notice of completion. I was wondering if we could just get a really quick report from staff about the cost and the longevity of the repairs, really for the education of the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I have just a brief couple slides here to show you, just to go over what we call the Tustin Library Restoration Project. This began, basically there was a leak discovered in the subfloor that most people know, many people know, that resides in an 18-inch base below where the main floor is. This happened, discovered on March 31st of last year. It actually took about 2 months, over 3 different occurrences to come back and remove the water. It was removed, about 125,000 gallons of water was estimated to be removed from the subfloor in about 80% of the building. And this was in the HVAC, electrical conduit, so it was pretty widespread.
That's a lot of water.
Following that, oh, here's some pictures. I think pictures do 1,000 words. For those that have been in there since the library opened, you think nothing had happened. But this is actually prevalent throughout the entire building. You can see the HVAC systems, you can see the water pipes, the electrical conduits. It's very expansive, and trying to work around the books has proved to be a challenge. Following that, late May through June and July, the city's insurance company actually commissioned a very detailed assessment where they hired several different expertise between structural, mechanical, electrical, advanced material systems, consulting with contractors, vendors, suppliers, based on the fact that this building was built 10 years ago. How do you put it back together? Following that, knowing that there was going to be some more time, the city, working with the county staff, opened up what commonly referred to as Tustin Light. It was a modified version of the library, but we were able to provide some of the essential services which spilled out into the courtyard area. Following that, or concurrent with that, and leading into the end of the year, city staff, team consultants developed a detailed scope of work, which was the basis for going out to bid on a project. The bid went out at the end of the year and went through an advertisement, city council award, notice to proceed, and eventually commencement in March, which led to the restoration work occurring through April, May, and into June. There was 16 change orders. We had a number of things that came up that just weren't understood at the beginning of the process. Eventually, once that was completed, the county then had to restaff. A lot of people had moved on or been reassigned. There was thousands of items that had been checked out prior to the closure that had to be reintegrated. They had dated materials, computer updates, transitioning down, and there was also a deferred cooling tower retrofit project that proceeded forward. Here's some pictures that the register took that shows part of this process taking place.
Very nice.
And then finally, Tustin Library reopened on August 22nd. It was met with a wide response from the community, and it's really enjoyed to this day. And then just lastly, the project by the numbers, there's tons of numbers we could throw at you, but I thought I'd throw a couple at you here. 2,000 feet of pipe insulation, almost 4,000 of ducting, 6,000 of the floor pedestals, 24,000 square feet of carpet. I'm going to take you up to this last one here, 16.5 miles. I verified that, re-verified it, and verified it before I came in here. That is accurate. That's basically all the data cables were in the floor. Just to put some perspective, if you ran that inside one of our 87 times, that's how much cabling that was. And then lastly today, which is trying to wrap up the final settlement, or the final claim, is $1.3 million spent today. So that's just the project in a nutshell. I'd be happy to answer questions at this time.
Thank you for a job well done. I'm glad you pulled it, Councilmember Clark. As everybody in the public can see, this was a long, arduous process that couldn't happen overnight. Mayor Pro Tem sits on the Library County Committee, so there's been a lot of work by a lot of people to get this done, and staff is taking the lead. Madam Clark?
Just would like to thank Mr. West for that presentation in record time. Thank you.
And Mayor Pro Tem, since you sit on the Library County Committee?
Yes, thank you very much. What Mr. West did in about 3 minutes was really the compilation of many, many months of work between the city and the county. Lots of different people involved, insurance, contractors, etc. The county librarian even put off her retirement until after this opened, so that showed a lot of dedication on her part. And I'm very pleased to finally see it open.
She wanted a
That was probably
bigger
the number one
pension.
question I would get out of the public over the last year. So I'm very pleased that we can now say that it's open. So thank you very much for all your work in getting this done.
All right, Ms. Clark, you pull the item? Like to make-
Sure. Motion to move forward with staff recommendations for item number 7.
Okay.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any objections or abstentions by those present? All right, that passes and takes us on to number 13, ladies and gentlemen. And that's our quarterly investment report, and the Mayor Pro Tem wanted to pull that out.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to pull the item because I think there's one thing that I would like to just have our city manager address very briefly is, we take our fiscal responsibility very seriously in the city, and I know that we've had many discussions on the dais and as to how we invest. And I think one of the key things and that we've seen in the public over the past couple of years is our pension liability. So, Mr. City Manager, could you address how we are working towards addressing that pension liability, please?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and to the council. A few years ago, when the City Council had its annual retreat with regards to strategic planning, the dialogue began with regards to information that we provided to the council that we were seeing a rise in our unfunded liability due to the increase in pension costs throughout the state of California and in particular to the city. That process has continued, unfortunately, throughout California, including Texas. And as a prudent financial measure, the City Council took under advisement and then direction to the city staff to start to look at a payment plan in which, under the current public employees retirement system, this unfunded pension, which is approximately $60 million for the city of Tustin. Sounds like a lot, but other cities are much higher than that. But that $60 million would be paid for like a mortgage over 30 years. And so we're paying increased rates so that in that 30-year time frame, that mortgage would be paid off. Through the leadership of the City Council and the determination based on our financial wherewithal, we decided to set up a special account in which we could pay down that liability at a much quicker rate. Our goal is to pay the unfunded liability off in 15 years versus 30 years, just like a 15-year mortgage versus a 30. That savings alone will be somewhere in over $10 to $20 million for the city by paying it off, just because of the interest that we save during that period of time. We have already made one payment into that account. We have set aside 3 years, so we're in a sense ahead of the game by 3 years. And then every 3 years, we'll be making an additional down payment into that account so that we can make that payment. The reason we set up the type of account that's a specialty account is that we can invest that money at a better rate than what we can earn it in a bank account right now, which isn't very high. So if we get a higher rate of return, that just expedites the ability to pay this off in a quick period of time. So it's great budgeting. It's great foresight by the council to want to do this, and it ensures that in the long term, not only is our pension system affordable, but it's also something that will be there for employees.
And so just to clarify, that will not affect our reserves, our reserve policy. Our reserves are above policy right now, is that correct?
We're currently at 30%, our reserve policy is 20.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, I will move to receive and file.
I'll second that. Any objections or abstentions, colleagues? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. And that takes us off, that completes our consent calendar and takes us on to item number 16. SB 54 and Proposition 47. We've come now to the public comment period for the discussion of SB 54 and Prop 47. Before we begin, I want to emphasize to each of you that wants to speak and express your thoughts this evening. This item is done by approaching the podium when it is your turn. Please don't make any outbursts in the audience. In order for us to hear each of you speak, everyone else needs to remain quiet and respectful. Hold up signs while you're in your seat if you like, but I encourage you to listen when it's not your turn to talk at the podium, just as the five of us will. Save any cheers or jeers or clapping or booing for after the meeting outside of our building. Each of you who turned in a speaker slip will be invited to speak at this podium. In the interest of time, call 3 of you up so that you have somebody lined up and ready to go. You will have the podium for up to 2 minutes. You're not required to use all of that a lot of time. Somebody speaks in front of you and you would like to just say, I echo the comments of the person that just spoke in front of me, please feel free to do so. We find in many hearings that the most persuasive speakers are usually the brief and respectful. Thank you all very much, and I appreciate the public's interest in the subject. And we have 50 speakers. All right, so it's going to take some time, ladies and gentlemen.
Not
So
bad.
again,
Not
please
terrible.
be respectful. We'll move forward as quickly as possible. All right, the first speaker this evening, the first 3, is York Nishins, and the second speaker, I'm sorry, one of the most important things, and I was moving a little bit too quickly, is I would like to introduce our great city manager, Mr. Jeffrey Parker, who's going to tee up this item before I move on to the speakers to speak. Mr. Parker, I almost took away all your speaking. I know you would have read it.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council, and to the citizens in our office and the building tonight, and residents and everybody who are here for the dialogue with regards to this item. The subject item is discussion of Senate Bill 54 and Proposition 47. The recommendation from the staff to the City Council is to consider approval of authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reaffirming the city's March 22nd letter of opposition to SB4 to the state legislature. The second is to approve and authorize the mayor a resolution declaring the city's support to repeal Proposition 47, also known to reduce penalties for some crimes and initiatives. In the report, we indicate that there is a physical impact. The physical impact is depending on what the city council's action is, but could range from as little as 0 to up to over $1,000 in cost of litigation and cost for attorneys in preparing that kind of litigation. We do have a correlation to our strategic plan that I'm not going to specifically mention, but to go into the background and discussion, for some of you know, but for others, SB 54 was a piece of legislation sometimes referred to as the Sanctuary State Law, also the California Values Act, CVA, became effective on January 1st, 2018. That part of this legislation is codified under the Government Code, Section 7284. In general, SB 54 was intended to limit the involvement of state and local law enforcement agencies in the federal immigration enforcement efforts. You will hear tonight that this is not an immigration issue, or this is a public safety issue. I'm going to tell you from the city staff point, it is probably neither and some of all. And we'll get to that when we get further into the dialogue. As to CVA in particular, the legislature declared that the following purposes to ensure effective policing, to protect the safety and well-being and the constitutional rights of the people of California, and direct the state's limited resources to matters greatest concern to the state and local government, was the purpose of SB 54. The CVA regulates the activities of state law and local law enforcement agencies. The legislation generally prohibits California law enforcement agencies from doing a number of specific things, and we've listed everything there. If the council would like, I can go through them in particular. But most important has to do with the inquiring into individuals' immigration status, detaining individuals based on federal immigration or customs enforcement. That's the responsibility of ICE, not the responsibility of local government. Requests that law enforcement agencies maintain custody beyond the person's release and eligibility to facilitate transfer to ICE, also something that's prohibited by SB 54. Providing information about an individual's
such as home or work address, unless the information is publicly available. Providing information, and this is a real critical one, providing information about an individual's release date unless the information is either one, publicly available, and I'll get into what the county sheriff does at this point in time, and two, in response to an immigration authority's a notification request and involves an individual who has been convicted of a designated crime or who is registered in California sex or arson registry. Within that category, this is information that we would or could share with a federal agency. Is a list of designated crimes including assault, battery, burglary, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, child abuse, elder abuse, felony drug possession or trafficking, gang-related offenses, rape, and unlawful possession or use of weapons. Opposition in the SB 54 does not prohibit our police department from exchanging information with ICE relative to those kind of crime activities. There are other ones that were SB 54 does limit the ability of state and local law enforcement agencies from participating or controlling their participation with the federal government with regards to immigration, just purely immigration. What it doesn't do, and what we continue to do, is our police department continues to work with the federal government with regards to investigations for, particularly if we're asked to participate in a gang-related activity, human trafficking, drugs, white-collar crime, any kind of task force in those manners. City of Tustin still, if requested, works in partnership with the federal government in investigating those, so that we can protect our citizens as best as possible. There are several exceptions for the CBA's prohibition. These exceptions include the authorization of California law enforcement agencies to respond to a request for information about an individual criminal history, as assessed through the California law enforcement telecommunications system. So it does allow for that. It also includes the authorization of the agency to participate, as I just indicated, in joint law enforcement task force, which we continue to do. The task force primary purposes would be not immigration. So as I indicated, if it's trafficking, it's white-collar crime, if it's gangs, drug activity, we would participate and could participate in those kind of task forces. And of course, anything that participation in task force does not violate local law and policy. In March 22nd of 2017, the city was evaluating a pending legislation which was called SB 54. This was 2017. We brought that to the attention of the city council because our police department and city staff felt that SB 54 at the time had some severe limitations with regards to its impact on our police department to communicate with federal government. The original language in SB 54 would have limited even our ability to work on the special task force that had nothing to do with immigration, but had to do with public safety as it would impact our community. We opposed that bill strongly because we felt that it's important, and as we feel today that it's important, that our law enforcement agencies work with federal agencies when it comes to addressing the type of activities that I've previously indicated, but not immigration. And the letter is attached in your exhibit 1. The effect on SB 54, since it has been adopted and passed by the state legislature to the Tustin Police Department, has not been significant at all. The impact on the police department operations in part is because the Tustin police officers are neither trained nor cross-designated with federal government to enforce immigration laws. It has very little to do with what we do as an enforcement agency of public safety. In addition, the city does not operate a jail, only a holding facility. Those arrested for serious crimes are booked in the county jail, which is operated by the Orange County Sheriff's Department. And the city continues to enforce judicial immigration arrest warrants, just as it did prior to
implementation of SB 54. The county sheriff's department has indicated that when they book an individual into the county system, they will post that name of that individual on public record, so that the federal government can be aware of who has been booked into the county courts or into the county jail. That doesn't violate SB 54. It provides the information to ICE, but it is up to the information of the federal government ICE operation to go track down that process. It is not the responsibility of the sheriff's department to do that work for the federal government, nor would it be for our local law enforcement to do that for the federal government. Proposition 47, on the other hand. Proposition 47 was enacted in November 2014. This initiative reduced certain crimes from felonies to misdemeanors and was passed in an effort to reduce the impact of our state prisons. The state prison system was under a federal mandate to reduce its numbers, overcrowding, and the state legislature followed through with a proposal by Governor Brown to pass a proposition and put it on the ballot. And they named it a unique name and it sounded like it was a really good deal for the public. And the state of California, citizens of this state, has Proposition 47. Read your ballot. That's a message I can give you. Read your ballot. The impact of this on crimes in our community and other communities has been significant. The early release of the prisoners who were once felons, who became immediately released from state prison. That has had a bigger impact and will continue to have a huge impact on the city of Tustin and other agencies as this continues to occur because of the overcrowding in the state. With that, I'd like to pause for a second and turn it over to our city attorney, who's going to talk about the constitutionality issues with regards to SB 54, and then return back to me so I can have some additional comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Kindig?
I'll just speak briefly about the federal lawsuit and update the council on that. On March 6th of 2018, the federal government filed a lawsuit in federal court against the state of California challenging the validity of SB 54 and two other pieces of legislation. With regard to SB 54, the lawsuit contends that the restrictions on state and local cooperation with federal officials are an obstacle to the federal government's enforcement of immigration laws, that they discriminate against federal immigration enforcement, and that they violate a federal immigration statute. On July 5th of this year, the federal district court that's hearing that case, Judge Mendez, issued an order on the federal government's motion for preliminary injunction that rejected the federal government's argument challenging SB 54. The federal court concluded that SB 54 does not violate federal law nor the federal constitution because federal law does not commandeer, or cannot commandeer, state and local police departments to enforce federal immigration law. The judge found that declining to assist federal authorities enforcing immigration laws in some situations, as SB 54 does, is not the same as impeding federal enforcement of federal law. That issue will be the subject of an appeal to the Ninth Circuit, of course, so the district court's ruling should not yet be seen as final word on that issue. That's my update on that item.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, in the staff report on page 391 or page 3 of the staff report, on the very bottom, I wanted to inform the city council about, because it's come up as a topic, as to the comparison of crime rates in Tustin and the impact of SB 54 and Proposition 47. The term crime rate refers to the racial crimes in an area of operation that I the community of Tustin. The types of crimes that are tracked are referred to as Part 1 crimes. Those crimes include the most serious violations, include murder, robbery, rape, theft, aggravated assault, etc. The city has experienced ebbs and flows and continues to always evaluate how we're addressing crime rates within our community. In the 7 months prior to the implementation of SB 54, i.e. before it became law, Tustin had 1,039 reported Part 1 crimes. In the 7 months after the implementation of SB 54 from January to June 28, Tustin had 910 reported Part 1 crimes, or a 12.42% decrease in Part 1 crimes. i.e. the correlation is, as to specifically SB 54, we have actually seen a decrease in our population. In the three years
More
prior to
crimes
the
are unreported.
implementation of Prop 47, however,
Yeah.
Tustin averaged 2,000 Part 1 crimes reported per year relative to that period. In the 3 years after the implementation of Prop 47, we've seen an increase to 2,401 Part 1 crimes in this correlating 3-year period, which is an increase of 15.5% of Part 1 crimes due to the implementation of Prop 47. As we've indicated, while adverse effects of Proposition 47 on Part 1 crimes are fairly evident in our community, and certainly if you ask any police department, you can get their perspective on how it's impacting our operation. The effect of SB 54 is necessary, given a much smaller sample size and a data example.
That's right.
So based solely on the existing data, however, Part 1 crime rate in Tustin has actually declined since SB 54 was implemented. I also want to indicate that we did some additional research with regards to national trends and trends in other sanctuary cities. And what has been statistically shown is that, and maybe it's because the data is so small at this point in time, we're only talking about 7 to 8 months into, now 10 months into the operation, is that there's not an increase in Part 1 crime that's occurring in sanctuary cities or non-sanctuary cities, or counties for that matter. There have been specific crimes that have been, horrendous, that have been committed by people who, at least from the immigration standpoint, have been highlighted. But the fact that overall crime in that specific category has not increased. I want to indicate that with regards to sanctuary laws, I think it's real interesting from my perspective that I'm doing this research, I wasn't even aware of it. The first sanctuary city in the United States was in 1985, and that's the city of Madison, Wisconsin. And some of them, why Madison? Well, for some reason, they had a big influx of El Salvadorians that had gone there in refuge from being persecuted in El Salvador. And the city decided that the churches were doing such a great job of harboring them and helping them out, that they decided to make the whole city a sanctuary city relative to that issue. Sanctuary cities started to crop up even more after 9/11. In 2002 to 2016, a number of statistics have shown that the increase in sanctuary cities has grown throughout the United States, counties and cities, and certainly in California. Although if you look at California's number of cities, actually some states have many, many more, and many, many more counties that have adopted what could be perceived as sanctuary laws. Garden Grove in our Orange County adopted somewhat of what I'll call a sanctuary city ordinance resolution back in, they called themselves a Harmony City back in 2007, which I think had the impact and the importance that as a police department, as a government agency, as a city council, one of your major priorities is public safety. And when we evaluate laws, and when we review laws, and when we implement our procedures, public safety is a critical element that we focus on. We are part of CALEA, which is an accreditation that very few police departments across the nation are accredited. And the reason we're in that program and the reason we're accredited is because we care about public safety. And so, I want the public to know, whether you're for SB 54 or against, the priority of public safety will never go away in this community. You have some other options in here. It runs from resolution reaffirming our position, which was recommended by staff, to reaffirm where we were back in March. We don't think that pieces of legislation that put us in a position not to work with other agencies makes sense.
Right.
But we're not in the business of immigration at a local level. That is the responsibility of the federal government. That is the battle that potentially looms forward with the legislation. We can wait, and we will wait, and if there is ultimately a decision all the way up to the Supreme Court that says states' rights, federal government's rights, it will be had through the courts, and we will follow that. In the meantime, you have state law that's been passed. It's our obligation to follow the state constitution just as much as we follow the federal constitution. That's your duty as a council. It isn't one or the other. You have the responsibility.
Wrong. Supremacy
one
clause.
law is right on the unconstitutional. You need to follow the law.
When I get up there, I'm gonna point it. I'll get up there.
With that, I conclude my report, and if there's any questions, I answer it, and after the speakers speak, if there's any follow-up, I'll provide it.
Well, thank you. I want to thank staff for the extensive research, and also Mr. Kindig, our city attorney, for researching all the past cases that have gone through over the last probably 8 to 9 months. As this community can see, it's continuing down the litigation trail. And Mr. Parker, thank you for all your research and your time and staff on this staff report. It was very, very well done. I'll defer to my colleagues, but I would think that we want to hear the public's comments, and then we can open that.
I would
Okay.
all right.
All right, thank you again, staff and Mr. City Attorney. And now we will begin. And please remember the comments I mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen. And our first 3 speakers this evening are York Nischens, Edmund Bradley, and Kenny Strunk. York is first, Edmund, and then Kenny. Then on deck, after those 3, will be Angela, Rondi, Linda Couture, and Jackie Young. Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you for your time. My name is Noor. I'm an immigrant myself, so I'm not against or for anybody, but I just want my community to be safe, and that means enforcing the law as it is and as it comes. I just wish that people would really take more consideration of what is going on in the community and what is happening in the community. I live in a community that's pretty safe, and just not too long ago, we had a home invasion where the mother just left for 15 minutes to go pick up her kids. And, you know, those things happen now in my neighborhood. They never have happened. I want the law to be enforced as it is. I don't want anybody to go against the law, but I do believe that federal laws is the primary thing that we need to go to, and then state law follows that. But, you know, to allow lawlessness to occur in our city is not okay for me. So I just wanted to look into that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Edmund Bradley, and then Kenny Strunk.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, honorable council members. My name is Edmund Bradley. I live at 1621 Grand Oak Circle in Tustin. I've been a Tustin resident for 42 years, and the last 38 years in the Meadows. And for what it's worth, I've been a lawyer for 23 years. I just want to speak to the issue of SB 54 and what measures the council should take with regard to that matter, if any. And I was prepared to say many of the things that your able city attorney touched on, and also your able city manager. Fact is that this type of legislation often goes through litigation before it becomes fully apparent what impact it will have on the community. And indeed, the Justice Department brought a lawsuit. It's being litigated in federal court. It'll be likely decided next year by the Court of Appeal. So I don't really feel that there's any reason that the council should take any action that opposes SB 54 as it is the law of the state right now. And with respect to one suggestion that you might reaffirm the letter of March of last year, I want to point out, I think that letter is a little musty at this point, because after the letter was written, there were some changes in the legislation. I think they actually did treat some of the issues that were concerned in the letter. I think getting involved in the litigation, either as an amicus or intervention, be a fool and would waste money. I think the best thing to do, and I would recommend, is table the motion and
Time's up.
Good evening, fellow citizens of Orange County. I want to point out, for starters, I want to respond to the city manager a little bit. The number of underreported crimes as a result of SB 54, because SB 54, and particularly the prohibition between communication between local governments and the federal government has the effect of it would have the effect of making crimes more underreported. So I just want to point that out for a start, for the fact that the number of reports went down. Maybe that may account for it. Secondly, it's very important, and I want to point this straight out, is the coming across the border with the intent to solely get on welfare and not to work and just to be lazily get on welfare and to use that welfare to buy drugs and whatnot, is the national scale equivalent of breaking into a house and stealing all the food out of a refrigerator, okay? If you're coming here illegally just to get on welfare and then become dependent on that, that's exactly what it is. And people who do that, it wastes millions of dollars of taxpayer money. It's a lot more expensive than litigation to do that. Not to mention that people who come in, not to mention that it also is a case of the most important thing that must be realized is that in the case of SB 54, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 says that the federal government, the Constitution, and all laws that are made in pursuance of the Constitution's enumerated powers, which the power, quote, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, unquote, is one of, they're collectively the supreme law of the land. The 10th Amendment states in itself that powers not delegated and that's a delegated power, okay? Therefore, the 10th Amendment does not apply. Thank you, and I hope you consider this.
Angela Rondi, and then Linda Couture, and then Jackie Young.
Undocumented immigrant would feel safe to come forward. Tustin is a decision point, at least in part by pressuring employers. Please vote to protect all those who live in Tustin, all who live in Tustin, to become a city known for the courage.
Thank you. Darlene Savoy.
Good evening. My name is Linda Cater. I've been a resident of Orange County for over 40 years. I understand that in 2003, when they told me he was an illegal alien, that he hadn't been deported.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff has come to light in the last few years. But I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart that I don't want anyone to ever have to go through the journey that I have. I've gone through litigation, through civil cases. I've hired forensic pathologists. It does nothing. It won't matter anyways. She's dead. She's never coming back. And it could have been prevented. I understand, and I don't know if it's true, that he's harmed other people since then. And he's still here. So I'm asking you, surprised that this even has to go on about. To me, it's just common sense.
Jackie Young, Darlene Savary, Laura Siriani.
Hi, I'm Jackie Young. I've lived in Tustin since 1988. My husband's lived here since 1955. We've raised 3 sons in the city of Tustin, and I'm a West Nile virus survivor. And I'm here tonight to find out where to get a copy of the list. There must be a list of laws that are ignored. It's my understanding it's illegal to sneak across the border of the United States of America.
Yes.
It's also my understanding that harboring that criminal is also illegal. To quote the U.S. Immigration Code, harboring makes it an offense for any person who, knowing or in a reckless disregard of the fact that an alien has come to enter or remains in the United States in violation of law, conceals, harbors, or shields from detection or attempts to conceal, harbor, or shield from detection such alien in any place, including any building or means of transportation. So I don't even know why this is a question of becoming a sanctuary city. It's illegal. And it's my understanding that federal law trumps state law. It's illegal to harbor criminal illegal aliens. Thank you.
Thank you. Darlene Savori, Laura Siriani, and Robin Burton.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I lived here for 20 years. I love my city. I raised my daughter here. I've ridden in the Tustin Tiller Day Parade. I'm not with a visiting hate group. I live here. I'm a citizen of this city. And the people that are here to speak against SB 54 from other cities, they do it because they're concerned that your vote will affect their city. We need to stay in touch with all the other cities that have already, in solidarity, there have been over 50 surrounding cities that have voted in one way or another to oppose SB 54, whether it was a proposition to oppose SB 54, an amicus brief. A couple of cities are actually suing the state. So I want to say thank you that you guys are, at least you're discussing this. I want to say thank you that in 2017 you wrote a letter in opposition of SB 54 and you guys all decided to do that unanimously. I want to say thank you that it's on the agenda tonight, and I want to encourage you to oppose this fake and phony, unconstitutional law so that we don't become a magnet city for illegal criminal aliens. And that's my fear, that if we do not stand up to the bureaucracy of Kevin De Leon and Governor Brown, we are going to be a magnet for illegal criminal aliens, not undocumented. Where did that term come from? Undocumented. That's ridiculous. They're not undocumented, they're illegal. It's illegal to come to this country.
Thank you. Laura Siriani, Robin Burton, Linda Naylor, and then Deborah Gurlich.
Thank you. I am a 20-year resident of Tustin, and before that, North Tustin, so this is my home. I serve as the deacon at St. Paul's Episcopal Church here in Tustin, and I think 35 or 40 members of the faith community in Tustin prayed for all of you before this meeting, so thank you. I'm called to speak to you on behalf of the most vulnerable people in our community and ask that you approach your decision with compassion. I am in the immigrant community, and there has been ratcheted up throughout the last year and a half. There is anxiety among our immigrant community, documented and undocumented. And I can assure everyone in this room that there are many, many families being separated and detained in our community. And that affects all of us. Income is lost, children are traumatized, no one feels safe, and these are our neighbors. More fear means more isolation, a fear of law enforcement, which has been addressed, and none of that is good for any of us, for our home, for our town. So I urge you to reach your decision, remembering those folks that are living in fear. Thank you.
Thank you. Robin Burton, Linda Naylor, Deborah Gurlich, and then John Kelly.
Thank you. I'm Robin Burton. I've lived in Tustin in the greater Tustin area for 45 years. Millie Tibbetts went missing when jogging on July 18th. And more than a month later, when the news broke that there was a suspect arrested and had led them to the body, this small Iowa town story became front page national headlines. Not because a 20-year-old woman had been murdered, but because the man who confessed to the crime was reportedly undocumented. And of course, President Trump saw this detail as the perfect distraction from the events taking place that same day in his administration.
I absolutely think the president should be calling attention to femicide, the murder of women. But this young woman's death was not that focus. What he should not be doing is using this woman's murder to push racism, to push a divisive agenda that could not be supported by statistics or facts. 2 recent studies debunk this fake news. A study published in the journal Criminology found that increased concentrations of undocumented immigrants are associated with significant decreases in violent crime. We heard that this evening from Mr. Parker. The very conservative Cato Institute found undocumented immigrants were 47% less likely to be in jail than those born in the United States. You know, like some of those people who were former employees of the president. 17-year-old Kelsey King vanished and was on a jogging trail in San Diego here in California. The man who killed Chelsea was John, not Juan. John was not only a U.S. citizen, but he was a repeat offender. And Kelsey is an exception. A woman in the United States is 13 times more likely to be killed by a man that she knows than by any stranger. The truth
Thank you.
is,
Linda Naylor, Deborah Coolidge, John Kelly, and Dr. Bill Huntington. Good
good
evening.
evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and staff. This is my 3rd time speaking at the Tustin City Council, and tonight I'll be addressing the lawlessness about SB 54. Now, SB 54 ties the hands of law enforcement officials in cooperating with federal authorities and ICE agents. In doing so, criminals are being released back into society without the proper checks and balances being performed. What we have is a broken system that fosters career criminals. To date, 11 neighboring cities next to Tustin have legally claimed anti-sanctuary city status. The holdout city is Tustin, which unfortunately is now the nearest city in South Orange County and is a magnet for crime for all who enter our country illegally from south of the border. Now, one principle I learned at UC Irvine is that of recidivism. Now, just imagine a revolving door going around and around and around. Now, recidivism is akin to this kind of revolving door activity, only it deals with how crime occurs over and over and over again, or repeat offenders. So criminal offenses start out as petty crimes. Then slowly they percolate into when the criminal goes ahead and commits more egregious crimes. So, Mr. Mayor, council members, I implore you to file a resolution stating Tustin's opposition to SB 54. Do what is right. Uphold the oaths that all of you went ahead and took to uphold and defend the
Thank you.
Constitution. Thank
Deborah
you.
Coolidge, and John Kelly, Dr. Bill Huntington, and Sue Gear.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Deborah Caroche, President of Tustin Ranch. Thank you for agendizing SB 54, law enforcement sharing data. This bill repeals state requirements to notify immigration officials regarding those arrested for alleged drug violations. It prevents state and local law enforcement from using money or personnel to investigate, interrogate, detain, detect, or arrest persons for immigration enforcement purposes, and that's from the law. There has been a lot of water under the bridge regarding this issue with the City Council. However, on behalf of our ad hoc group opposing sanctuary cities, we do appreciate it that you brought it for us this evening. 3 points. The residents do care deeply about this issue and have tried to discuss this matter with you. Yours truly. The previous SB 54 letter during the legislative process is no longer applicable. Whatever legal costs may be incurred will be money well spent. What is the cost of one single life like Molly Tibbetts or Kate Steinle? We urge you to consider the range of options that other cities are doing. The easiest thing is to adopt a resolution. However, I wish to encourage you to jump in with the economy of this population first, as it always does. We hope you'll do the right thing, protect your constituents and the people of Tustin, and adopt the resolution. And if you don't, you can always support the lawsuits later. Please form a citizen advisory group to address this issue.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly, Dr. Bill Huntington, Sue Gear, Lauren Austin. Former City Councilman, Mr. Kelly, good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Such a dynamic set here, I almost feel like I'm on Jeopardy, tested with the lights on. No, I'm this is my third visit here, and trying to get it agendized. And I remember speaking with Councilmember Bernstein about the beautiful letter that you crafted, and it does look like a Philadelphia lawyer had crafted it, not a Philadelphia doctor, but a Philadelphia lawyer. It was well done and everything, and I think that the time has come for this city to really raise its voice and join with all the other municipalities here in Orange County that see the danger in this legislation. And that we want to keep the city, not only our city of Tustin, but all around the state of California. And we need to do it. We need to voice our opinion. And I think that I'm a big advocate of repetition, inculcating over and over again. I remember talking with the Councilmember Bernstein about it goes in one ear and out the other with these state legislatures. They're not going to pay any attention to it. But when you've got all these municipalities raising their voice saying that this SB 54 is absurd, all of the cities, the county board of supervisors in San Diego and Orange County, and all these cities, except for the city of Santa Ana, the People's Republic of Santa Ana. I just implore you all to adopt the resolution that you have included here, sending that letter in there, and it was well crafted, and I know Councilmember Clark, you're going to do the right thing, because you were a Tustin killer. Tustin killer is always been right. So it makes sense. So thank you for your time. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Let's see, next on deck, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so far. I don't want to be,
Don't jinx it.
Behaving very well in the decorum that's appropriate. So please keep it up. We still have a lot of speakers left.
Yes.
Mr. Huntington, Sue Gear, Lauren Austin, Kevin Brewer, and Cynthia Case on deck.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, fellow community members. I'm Bill Honigman. I'm an emergency room physician in practice for over 30 years here in Orange County. Recently moved to Tustin area, and I rise in opposing, reaffirming the letter of opposition to SB 54. I do so based on my firm belief that the sanctuary state notion is a strong measure in favor of public health and safety and humanitarian. Community policing, which is long proven to be an effective method of crime control, as well as interactions, interpersonal interactions we have in our community, depends on the ability of people to have a free and open reporting process with local authorities, without worry of warrantless searches and seizures. This is extremely important in community relations and acceptance and mutual respect amongst all of us. Unless you're a Native American, of Native American lineage, and your ancestors and mine were immigrants. We're all one people. I support SB 54 in spirit and application, and ask for your no vote on reaffirming the letter of opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue Gear, Lauren Austin, Kevin Brewer, and Cynthia Case. Please.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Sue Keir. I've lived here for 48 years. I know I don't look that old, but I oppose the resolution reaffirming opposition to SB 54. I prefer actually that Tustin would accept and affirm it. To me, this is a matter of conscience in a country struggling to remember its own roots. Remember, we're all descendants of people who came here for freedom, from persecution, from poverty, and for religious freedom. We have that heritage, and we need their courage to stay true to what I think of as the spirit of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Kevin Brewer, Cynthia Case, Reverend K. Sylvester, Diana Pryor.
I thought it was Lauren Austin.
Go right ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I may have skipped you, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I got a lot of names here.
Yeah, I heard. Good evening. My name is Lauren Austin, and I'm here today to urge you to support SB 54. I've been a resident of Tustin since birth, 31 years ago. I grew up here in Tustin. I'm a product of TUSD. I don't say this to flaunt some misguided pedigree or claim I am more important than anyone else or more a resident of Tustin than my neighbors, but to provide insight to my motives. From an early age, specifically during my 5th grade year at Tustin Memorial, after one of my best friends spat at another friend and hurled a racial slur based on her Hispanic last name, that I was exposed to and battled with the everyday realities of an all too familiar us versus them mentality. It was at this time I was first asked by my peers, my friends, why do you care about them? At Ut Middle School, I was ridiculed for not participating in the weekly Friday ritual of well-to-do white kids buying out the snack bar just to hurl their mess at the tables of various minority students. At Foothill, it only got worse, but by then I knew I'd better stay quiet. You see, these acts were not only to make them feel unwelcome, but to oppress any dissent, to isolate the non-white kids, and show anyone who thought about standing up to their cruelty that they'd be next. I wonder what this council would say to the 15-year-old me. Would they tell me I was right to bite my tongue during those critical developmental years? Would they too laugh at me when my face turned red out of anger at the terrible things everyone around me would say, not only about, but to anyone just a shade darker than us? Because the daily routine of ignoring the fire within has a profoundly negative impact on the person I was becoming. The angry instigators seen and heard here tonight have been at city council meetings up and down Southern California, spouting the same hateful rhetoric. They don't have a vested interest in Tustin, and their presence here is fleeting. Your decision tonight, however, will have a lasting impact, and I hope you consider the message you are sending to Tustin's youngest citizens.
Kevin Brewer, Cynthia Case, Reverend K. Sylvester, Diana Pryor.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Kevin Brewer. I'm a resident of what the kingdom of Savannah? What was it? I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, but I shop in Tustin. It's a friendly city. There's plenty of parking. I was an incident that happened to me, a month or two ago. I have a doctor's appointment on a regular basis here in Tustin, or real close around the corner, and I was running late and I was in a hurry. And when I got to the doctor's office, I said, gee, I'm sorry, Barbara, I'm sorry I'm late. And she said, Kevin, this is Tustin. Tustin has a very low crime rate, and the policemen have extra time to write out traffic citations. Now, next time, don't hurry. And I apologize to any policemen in attendance. New supervisors now are going to be assigning them extra work because it's such a safe city. Okay. I'll get to the point. I do not support sending anything in that will go against proposition or SB 54. I think you should take a little bit more time to review, find out what other cities are doing, how it impacts their law enforcement. It sounds as if it is not having a serious effect on the crime rate right now that we can tell. And it is not having a serious hampering effect on law enforcement. I would also like to point out that there are many studies that show that immigrant communities, even communities that have undocumented aliens in them, are much safer than those inhabited by folks that look like me. Okay. I refer you to one study in the Chicago Policy Review that said undocumented immigration may make safer. Google it online, you'll be surprised. Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Cynthia Case, Reverend K. Sylvester, Diana Pryor, and Dee Dee Dominguez.
Good evening. I'm a homeowner, a taxpayer, and a voter in Tustin. I love the beautiful diversity of the people and businesses in Tustin. I can have Mexican food for breakfast, Pakistani food for lunch, Vietnamese food for dinner. My ophthalmologist is Korean, my dentist a Sudanese refugee, my doctor Iranian. When I walk through my neighborhood, I hear a harmonious symphony of accents and different languages. Do you know that 55% of our residents speak a language other than English as a first language? What other small city can boast such a rainbow of humanity? I've experienced Tustin as a warm, welcoming, and inclusive city of civic-minded neighbors who talk with each other, look out for each other, and most importantly, trust each other. SB 54 is about trust. It lets everyone in Tustin know that our local police can be trusted to do the job we're paying them to do, not to do the work of the federal immigration authorities. The opponents of SB 54, some of them, base their views on fear and hatred, not on trust. Some of them would have us believe that our city's diversity is something to be feared and hated instead of honored and celebrated. In the words of President George Bush, we are better than this. America is better than this. And distinguished members of our city council, Tustin is also better than this. Please vote to uphold SB 54.
Thank you, Reverend Kay. Diana Pryor, Dominguez, Patricia Ferreira.
Good evening, members of the council and city manager, city attorney. I deeply appreciate your time and effort and research in bringing forth the facts of the matter. I wish to speak to the symbolic value of SB 54, whether it's upheld or not, because it has clearly become a bit of a referendum. Whether it was ever intended that way or whether you would like to deal with it that way, it is clear that voices on both sides of the issue see this as more than a narrow legal decision, but an opportunity to claim values. And I would echo what Cynthia just said about the diversity of Tustin and how it works in our favor, how it is one of our greatest strengths. And so if our vote on SB 54 is of primarily symbolic value, I would invite you to consider well what the symbol is that you want Tustin to uphold. I don't see any conflict between SB 54 and law enforcement. The narrow definition as given by our city manager says that we have every right to prosecute criminals, whatever their immigration status. It's simply immigration issues that would be not cooperated with in terms of what our local law enforcement would be doing. So the symbolic value of your vote is what I would lift up for you, because people here count on you to uphold the values of trust, of mutual care for one another, and to bless and care for the most vulnerable among us. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this lengthy evening and your energy in it.
Thank you. Diana Pryor, Dee Dominguez, Patricia Ferreira, and Liz Patterson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I will make this short and to the point. I'm a U.S.-born citizen and a Navy veteran. I'm also practicing my Catholic faith. And as a resident of Tustin, I oppose SB 54. I did not serve this country to have the U.S. Constitution trampled underfoot. I will not be politically correct. SB 54 is not about immigration. Those who broke the law to enter the U.S. are not undocumented immigrants. They are criminal illegal aliens. I ask you to oppose SB 54. God bless the United States of America.
Dee Dominguez, Patricia Ferreira, Liz Patterson, and Sarah Rasmussen on deck.
Oh, thank you. SB 54 is an unconstitutional law which prevents the use of state and local public resources to aid federal immigration and ICE agents in deportation actions. Sanctuary policies shield illegal alien criminals from arrest and removal by ICE when they are released from local jails and state prisons. As a result, illegal alien criminals return to the same communities where they commit new crimes. And many seek sanctuary jurisdiction because they know living in one specifically reduces their chance that they will be deported if arrested. On the flip side, cooperating with ICE to identify and remove criminal illegal aliens results in protecting Americans from further victimizations. Illegal aliens also commit crimes such as domestic violence, assault, DUI, and homicide. These are some bad people. And yet, some people here will actually want to protect them. In order to protect our residents, we need to provide our law enforcement with the tools that they need to keep us safe. SB 54 serves only one community, the illegal alien perpetrators of crime. Those who advocate for sanctuary cities and states are betraying the American people. Thank you.
Patricia Ferreira, Liz Gaddison, Sarah Newsom, and Betty Robinson.
Good evening. I was the first woman councilwoman on Tustin's city council, so I'm glad to see two other women. Most of the way I feel has been expressed tonight, but what hasn't been expressed is the way that the city has grown. Yes, Coach Bucket, you know, you've been here that long. You had all my boys in baseball. We went from a tiny bedroom community to a big pass-through community. We are located in an area in which we're surrounded by other larger cities, and they use 1st Street, Main Street, 17th Street to get over somewhere else. I'm living in Old Tustin. I've been there now for 43 years. My neighbors have changed. I'm now 80 years old, but most of those that are my age are gone. And we have young families. They're all of different races, sizes, colors, religions, whatever, getting along well. They do not like 54. They're worried. A lot of them have moved from Santa Ana and Costa Mesa because they're scared. They are raising young children. They're going over to the schools that we have. They're wonderful people. And they've asked me to say something about going up against 54 and 47. So I pass it on to you as something from a neighborhood. We can get very legal on all this, but when it comes down to it, we still have our people to think about. And these are people, many of them don't speak our language, but they are here, they're wonderful neighbors, and they want to be protected. I've seen our police department grow from very, very small to medium small.
Thank you for your service on our council also. Liz Gaddison, Sarah Rasmussen, and Betty Robinson.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for your time. I'm surprised and amused to see so many people who oppose federal taxes and federal laws taking such a federal stance tonight. It's sort of making me giggle a little bit. Here's the thing. Parkland, Jacksonville, Newtown, Seal Beach. I could go on and on all night. All of these are perpetrated by white men born in the United States of America. People do bad things. A lot of them are white people born here. But we're not asking them to stay out of our community or ostracizing them or shaming them for their behavior. We're targeting illegal immigrant aliens because they're an easy scapegoat. So what is this really about? The California Values Act doesn't even really affect Tustin. We don't have a jail, so the whole thing is really just decorative at this point. But we still have people talking about racist fear-mongering. This isn't about safety. This is about people being afraid of others who don't look like that. Which, by the way, is how we got to the point of putting children in cages because we don't like their parents. And I don't think the people complaining tonight realize how complicit they are in that very thing. Because they're not doing the critical thinking, and they're not seeing the obvious connections. They're interested in hearing themselves talk, and nothing more. It's embarrassing, shameful, and not representative of our community. Thank you.
Sarah Rasmussen, and then Debbie Robinson, Don Beck, and Terry Schmildenbus.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council, for this opportunity. I've contacted you multiple times, and this morning when I was trying to figure out how I would engage with this as an individual, not as a group, I was kind of trying to come up with an inspiration for an image of sanctuary. And I turned behind me and saw a painting that my sister had made of my mom, her first return to her homeland, Greece, 20 years after she had left the despairs of war. I am her daughter. 2 months ago, I read a xenophobic post about an issue being forced upon the city council. I attended the meeting and was shocked to see signs that read, "Deport them all, build a wall," people testifying to a crime that was done by people who didn't look like them. These are quotes. In 1974, almost 20 years after my mother had immigrated, people thought my mom didn't belong here because of her accent and darker skin. Once they got to know her, this thought disappeared, of course. But how could this be in 2018? How do we not know our neighbor or fear for not to blame immigrants on everything, especially in California, where they oftentimes care for our children, our home, our community, where they are our neighbors? I myself got followed out in a harassing manner by a woman present at this meeting this evening. In return here, the same woman bragged to her friends that she had threatened me and my business. I believe she is an outlier, though. I believe that people speaking against SB 54 in this room are outliers. I have faith we are bigger and better than this. I believe that hope and compassion can rule, and that everything else is ignorance, fear, or apathy awaiting transformation. I feel helpless sometimes when it comes to things happening at the national level, but at least I have a chance to say that here in Tustin, we celebrate compassion, we celebrate inclusivity, we celebrate love. I hope tonight that you're moved to reverse the decision you made for the resolution last year before the
marking things up. Because it demonstrates your understanding that SB 54 only protects criminal illegal aliens from deportation and limits law enforcement resources. I recently heard a significant statement made by former ICE Director Thomas Homan. 89% of illegal aliens arrested by ICE have a criminal history. Because of the Trust Act, local law enforcement does not perform duties related to illegal immigration. For about 2 years after Kate Steinley's death, I kept a list of citizens who had been killed by illegal aliens. A great many of those on the list were killed by illegal aliens who had previously been released from jail after
Terry Schmildenbus, Jack Straw, and Lily Dressman.
Good evening, my name is Bob Beck, and I'm a resident of Orange County for 55 years. Let me start with this. Heaven has a wall and strict immigration policies. Hell has open borders.
Yep.
We don't want this Golden State to become more of the failing that it is currently. It was not built under the current corruption emanating out of the Sacramento swamp. And its incompetent tyrants, and the chaos caused by allowing the cancer of illegal aliens violating our sovereign borders. Damn Attorney General Xavier Becerra, Kevin DeLeon, SB 54 author, and Jerry Moonbeam Brown. SB 54 is unconstitutional and must be challenged. Communities say it is and should be of the greatest concern. Do not shirk responsibility of SB 54. There's nothing more than an illegal immigration felon protection law. God bless Kate Steinley,
Yes.
Marvin Tibbetts, and Donald J. Trump. And I'd like to say one thing. I'm sick and tired of, let's say, the leaks come up these fake news about regarding stats. I think there's phony as a $3 bill. You manipulate things, oh well, that's what you lawyers do, is like to twist and manipulate. and throw out all this fake news garbage. I'm sick of it. Thank you very much.
Terry Schnoggenboss, and then Jan Strahl. I need Terry. You're Jan, all right. Terry is absent, and we're going to take a short recess. My colleagues requested a break. So go ahead, ma'am, and then we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
I'm Jan Strahl, I've been resident of Tustin since '86.
Microphone.
I live in Tustin Meadows, and one thing I think we all need to think about here tonight and in the future is this is not about color, this is about legal versus illegal. There are a couple of things that I listened to tonight, and I was taking notes that I think remain unsaid. And so one of them is the catch and release system. Basically, the police can only give a warning, and most of the criminals that are taken in are not really dealt with. They are released. Number two is that the police can convey information to immigration, but they don't do it when felons will be released. They have access to information when they're brought in, but they do not notify when they're released. Third, there is a lot of federal funding to church groups, all denominations throughout the country for illegal immigration. So, SB 54 removes local control. I think that's very important here in Tustin. Governor Brown needs to follow the laws of our Constitution, and the federal law does trump the state law.
Yes.
And when it gets down to money, I know we were talking about retirement, they're talking about in the millions, but one thing we need to consider is that California is harboring 1/3 of all the illegal immigrants in this country.
Yep.
California spends 25 billion with a B dollars annually for illegal immigration, and the United States only spends 113 billion annually. I think we have a problem.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a short 5-minute recess. Before you recess, Minnie Lee Dressman, Bible, Will Russo, and Linda Barcelona to be next up as soon as we reconvene. All right, recess. Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Thanks, so Arthur, how do you think this is going to play out?
How this will play out? I think they're going to reaffirm, because that's been the recommendation of the staff. They'll reaffirm it, but it doesn't sound like they'll do a lawsuit. I think they should, though. But I can't hear you.
The answer mom was smooth. She said, because Linda, she sent me a text that Linda, I had to leave. I couldn't believe it.
She had to leave because it's just so.
It just makes me sad. Because these people just don't get what it's like to bury their children.
They're sociopaths. They have a depraved indifference to the suffering of others.
It's an elitist, yeah.
They're victims of their false narratives. They don't care about the victims of their false narratives because they have a narcissistic personality disorder. They pat themselves on the back and act like they're the heroes, but they're actually sociopaths because they don't care. So many people have been hurt and killed, and they don't care.
See, it's a different story if it's their kid. That's sadly what it takes for a lot of
kids.
So.
Even that Tibbetts, what was her name?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They care about their own kid.
Yeah.
Because they're narcissists.
Yeah.
They only care about themselves.
You know, if somebody else had that same story that Linda had, then it's different.
It's white guilt. It's American guilt. They've been taught to feel like the world has to roll over and accommodate That this country has to
open
open.
credit. Guilt implies that they have
Yeah.
like feelings, a conscience.
Yeah, they do.
I don't. I think they don't.
So,
I think that they're
okay, well, I don't want to, the point is it's wrong. The point is we should be securing our borders, not feeling sorry for people who break our laws. Okay?
What they went ahead and said, this is not immigration. That's why I went ahead and just said.
I think the thing, I will, you know, it is just stunning to me how it's so racist when they say that, oh, they don't like people who don't look like them. Are you suggesting that illegal aliens are all from Mexico or Latin America? Because they're not. We have illegals from Canada. We have illegals from Ireland. We have illegals from England. So that's pretty damn racist. It is just totally racist. Oh, they do our chores and they pick our. That's pretty damn racist. It is. That's so offensive. Yep. So I'm glad somebody brought that up.
You equate citizenship with a race.
I know. That's what they're doing.
Fallacy.
Yes. I know, or like when now he tells me to go back to Europe, but that's like not racist, right?
What's his real name?
Is it Robert Hernandez?
I'm telling you, buddy. You're messing with the wrong person when you mess with me.
Don't get triggered.
I'm just telling you. Don't get triggered. I'm just telling you, bro.
Why do you keep telling me to go back to Europe? I gotta hear this. He's telling me to go back to Europe. He does what he tells me to do.
He's born in Mexico, but he's indigenous to this land here. He's indigenous to California.
I know he.
He was born in Mexico.
Okay, so did you get a job yet? This guy needs a job. So what kind of a job do you need? I don't think you can be a basketball player. I want you to know, Noe, that everybody loves you. You're so entertaining. Is that should be your job? You should be a comedian.
At least I have a job.
He doesn't have a job.
He doesn't work.
Oh, really? I don't work.
Donations.
Really?
You live off donations. That's what you do. You live off donations.
Do I? Hey, people want to give me money. They don't give you anything. What is it? Okay. Is it wrong to? It's wrong to take donations. Why? Why am I lazy? I'm lazy.
Yeah, you don't work.
You don't even do anything.
You should work at Vons.
You told me to go back to Europe. I have to go back to Europe. You said though. Why?
How come you don't work at Vons?
You told me. Why do I have to go back to
Why
Europe?
do you have a job? Answer the question. You never
Oh, I do have a job. I have 2 jobs. I already told you.
Where do you work at? Vons?
Why do I have
How
to
come
tell
you
you?
got fired from Vons?
Why do you care?
I'm asking.
Why do you even care whether I have a job or not?
Is it true that an immigrant took your job?
What is it?
Is it
I've
true?
never said that.
No, I'm asking.
Look at that. I have never said that. That's pretty racist.
Straw man argument.
Wow. I have never said an immigrant took my job. Did an immigrant take your job?
It's true. Is that what you're triggered?
Do you have a job? Do you have a job? Or does George Soros pay? I don't believe it.
At least I have a job.
Do you? I don't believe it. This guy does not work at a restaurant. So you don't have a job. Is that why? Are you like bitter because everybody else does?
I'm asking you a question. Do you have a job yet?
Oh, absolutely, too.
What?
I have more jobs than you do.
Hey, at least give me a job. But when is this guy gonna get a job?
Well, that's all you've got
You're
left.
smarter than me.
He doesn't want to talk about why he told me to go back to Europe. So, is it true that you support national socialized medicine? Is it true that you support centralized government? Is it true that you support a nationalized ethnic state? That makes you a Nazi, right? So do you acknowledge that you're a Nazi, a brown Nazi? Notice how he doesn't want to talk now. He's a brown Nazi. I confronted about this in Riverside. In Lewis, you were there. I said he's a brown Nazi, and he didn't want to say anything.
What about your
The security got really scared. The security guard then intervened because he got scared that he was getting worried and triggered because I called him out. He's a Nazi. He's a National Socialist, believes in centralized government, wants to separate races.
You're the one who was.
He tells me to go back to Europe. He's told me to go back to Europe
This guy
many times.
What he said from the red elephant.
What about the red elephant? Oh, tell me about the red elephants.
That's your buddy.
No,
that's your buddy.
Oh my God! You watched the video? You watched me on YouTube? Wow! I am really honored. So he lives. I live in his head rent free.
Hey, so let me ask you a question.
So what about it?
Let me ask you a question. Do you support the red elephant?
No.
All of a sudden you don't.
No, I haven't supported their hatred, their bigotry.
You used to be in the same car with them.
I'm in the same room with you, but I'm not a Nazi.
Yeah, you and the red used to be in the same car together.
Are you that desperate? Hey, you know, they want to push that whole white ethno-state stuff that I don't agree with. So that's your friend. You and he have a lot in common. The only difference is he's light and you're brown.
Do you denounce him?
Is he communist? No, he's a Nazi.
Do you denounce him?
He's a National Socialist.
Do you denounce him?
I already have.
All of
Twice.
a sudden you denounce him.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
I thought you watched my videos.
All of a sudden.
And the interviews.
He watches everybody's videos.
Oh, he watches yours too, doesn't he?
You denounce the communists? What?
He is he's a Nazi.
What communists? Well, like Modilock. I've seen you with your arm around Modilock. She's a commie. Who's that guy that got hit?
I want you to notice how he suddenly switched, because when you call out the National Socialism that he's a Nazi, he doesn't want to talk anymore.
But you work with.
Why are you getting in his way?
All of a sudden you're talking bad about them, but you were.
A little fool, a fool. I know. No, a heifer. A heifer.
Oh, he's a Holstein.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen?
I think they'll do the resolution.
Okay, but they won't do any. They won't do an amicus brief.
No, but you can certainly suggest they do.
I will. They should do that.
Deborah, I wanted to talk to you.
Okay.
Deborah.
Who's she? Is she Deborah?
She
Okay.
used to work at the White House.
Deborah.
Or Linda.
Okay. Well, you're introducing me.
Hi, Linda.
Who's that, Arthur?
This is Linda. Darlene's introducing me.
Linda, I want you to meet Arthur. So he's the one that said
Oh, I'm sorry.
that they actually, you said they have until September 10th to do an amicus brief.
For the Ninth Circuit, a new deadline has initiated because of the district court ruling. So this city can file another amicus brief with the Ninth Circuit. And now there's more issues that ensue because there's all these arguments, and so now you've got the district judge has made a new set of arguments talking about the state can tell. The argument that Mendez made is that hey Betty, how are you? Look, I'm in your city now. Isn't it cool? I'm so glad I can help you here. This is great. Now you got to come to Torrance. Okay, so Betty's here. She's part of the People Rising.
Hi, Betty.
So, now another set of arguments have come up because the district court, Mendez says, one of the laws is 450. That's the private. So it's like, what is it? It's either because it's like private businesses are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either they comply with federal law or state law when it comes to ICE and ICE sweeps. Then there's also, there's an inordinate burden. If the feds own a detention center where they're housing illegals, but now the Attorney General has the authority to step in and investigate, that's a problem.
That's what I'm saying. This issue is not, it's not completed. It's going to be ongoing.
Yes, it will.
We need a citizens advisory group.
So you have been offering that idea?
I just introduced it.
Okay.
But it occurred to me today, and because this issue isn't over, and you're absolutely right.
I'm saying that more issues have now come out.
To the Supreme Court.
Yes, it will.
Because
And Kavanaugh will be that swing vote that strikes this thing down.
Because, as you know, the Ninth Circuit Court never, it always rules liberally.
Yeah.
So it will find its way up to, as it should be anyway, between a state and the federal government, it should go to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
She's the president of my Women's
sure.
Federated Republican
Oh, here in
Women's
Tustin?
Federated, yeah.
Okay, great. So you reached out to her.
And we have how many members? Like 150? I think it's like 160. I always
You guys are active.
167.
There's my card.
Yeah,
So you guys are
really
alive and
great.
active. You reached out to her, and you guys reached out to each other.
Holly invited me
Oh, there you
to
go.
lunch, and then I have a statement here from Deborah. If I have time, I'm supposed to.
I'm really glad that, Republican women groups have been the most active. I call people and I get someone who calls me back. I talked to a group in Sacramento when we were dealing with Assembly Bill 2943 that they were on it. Even in Monterey County, you do stuff. That's my point.
We need to get you to speak at one of the lunches.
That'd be nice. I appreciate it.
Get a job. But I never pointed at it.
Oh, good. This is perfect. Okay, I'm in shape.
Vinnie Lee Dressman, Richard Hall, Bill Russo, and Linda Barcelona.
I'll probably end up being here the whole
Listening to what's going on tonight. Because despite that city manager said crime actually went down after the passage of SB 54, you still have people claiming that crime has gone up and they can be fearful of immigrants. It's just not the case. One statistic after another showing that more immigrants does not mean more crime. There are 2.5 times more native-born Americans in prison than there are foreign-born. That's a fact. The reason behind that? Because just like every immigrant, my family are Italian-Irish. We came to this country, we worked hard, and we became successful. I'm a lawyer. My father only went to school till he was 14. My mother's side, they were coal miners coming from Ireland. They came here, uneducated, they came here, and their families prospered. And they added to the greatness of their country, and they served their country. This demonization of immigrants is un-American. It is completely un-American. We are great because of immigration. We are great because of it, not despite it. That is a fact. In 1986, a left-wing radical president named Ronald Reagan passed an amnesty that made 4 million undocumented immigrants American citizens. Why did he do that? Because economically it made sense, humanitarian-wise it made sense, it made sense for the country. Demonizing them does not make sense. It is un-American. When I was in the Marine Corps, I served with non-citizens. Non-citizens have fought, they've served, and they've died for this country. I stand in favor of SB 54.
Thank you. Linda Barcelona. And then again, Minnie Lee Dressman, if you're here. Richard Leibel, if you're here. Linda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and the City Council of Tustin. I was a citizen of Tustin for 27 years until recently, and I'd like to thank you for taking up this issue, taking a stand against SB 54 and SB 47. It's not about immigration. It is not racist. And those in opposition to SB 54 are not racist. What this is about the rule of law. It is about defending our Constitution. It is about taking a stand against a rogue state government that continues to pass laws that affront our Constitution, laws that are not in the best interest of our communities. It is about standing together with the majority of our surrounding communities to fight back against this rogue state government. I'm very well acquainted with the leadership of most of these communities, and I know you know that. And I'm really having a very hard time to believe that they got it so wrong. And I'd love for you to stand with them, at least with a resolution, if not, join them with their lawsuits, with the other actions that they are taking, an amicus brief and those things. I also have a little short message that Deborah Polly asked me if I could read if I had time. She couldn't be here tonight. She asked that I say that she is watching what we are doing in the city here, and that she looks forward to positive reports concerning the actions here tonight, and thanks you for taking up this issue as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Arthur.
Just for the record, it's really offensive to me that people want to make this issue not just about immigration, but they're playing the race card. Okay, I live in Torrance, California. We have one of the largest Japanese communities in the country. Okay, we have a Japanese American who served our country, even though his family was interned just for the color of his skin. So our city has taken much of a far leap forward on fighting racism than if you're making immigration about race, that's racist. Okay, we have a lot of illegals from England and Canada, and there's some in the San Diego jail cell. I heard about that. They kind of look like me. So this isn't about race. This isn't even about immigration. This is about the rule of law, public safety, and I thank you for nodding your head, whether you agree with me or not, but there it is. The religious argument. There's a lot of people playing this religious card. You want to find the picture of an immigrant? Ruth. Ruth didn't break into Israel. Okay, she didn't sneak into the country. She had a sponsor, the mother-in-law. And there are 5 things she said she'd commit to. Your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Where you are buried, I will be buried. Okay, she became an Israelite. She followed the law. Okay, last of all, this is about criminals. I spoke to one lady in this audience who was pro SB 54. She got it completely wrong. The fact is that this is a law that deliberately cuts off communication between state and local agencies and the federal government. That is a violation of federal law, and this is not an issue of commandeering. Okay, the federal government commandeers the National Guard from time to time. They're allowed to do that. There is a supremacy clause in Article 6. You took an oath to the United States Constitution and the state constitution, but if there's a conflict, the Constitution wins. Or as it has been so well said, federal law trumps state law. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen Connington, Jesse S., Gerald Thomas. Yes. Maureen Connington.
Let us love our neighbor, but let us not be a victim of our neighbor. And for the record, I'm married to I was going to say an alien. I'm married to an immigrant, but he is a legal immigrant, and for the record, he happens to be a minority. California is a rogue state protecting criminals